What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 18 of the Codec, our interview with Metal Gear Solid community manager Robert Peeler. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. Thanks for inviting me.
You're very welcome. I know the crowd is excited to have you here. It's been a pleasure working with you.
Not for long, I assure you.
Right. As always, joined by my two amazing co-hosts, Young, yeah?
What's up, everybody? It's Young here, and welcome to our interview with Robert Peeler. We're going to get a lot of neat information from Robert here. He's a good friend of mine, and we've met quite a bit. So thank you for joining us, and hope you've been good, man. You look tired.
I am tired. It's been a long week. It's been a lot of long weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Right, exactly. And we have
a game to launch or something. I don't know.
We also are joined by KorruptRonin.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? KorruptRonin here, and thank you to the massive crowd that we have joining us today. We really appreciate all the support, guys. And by the size of this crowd, we can tell that you guys are excited as we are about this interview. And I'd also like to thank Robert for joining us as well. This is my first time meeting him, and it's definitely a pleasure. So thank you for that.
Nice to meet you.
All right, guys. So just a couple quick clarifications before we get into it. One, we obviously apologize for the technical delay. Also, we do have a weird setup today. It's not our normal setup. So if the audio is a little bit laggy, we're going to have to bear with that. We might talk over each other a little bit. I think Robert's a little bit behind, maybe just 1 or 2 seconds. So if we talk over each other, we apologize. And then additionally, if Robert drops the call, this is a live show, and he's I believe he's on the PAX floor. And so we may have run into some technical issues. Just bear with us. Robert's going to give us a full hour of interviews, minus the issues and technical breaks. So don't worry, we will fix all of that. But let's get started. I think I actually have the first question this time. It's been quite a while since I took the first one. But Robert, tell us just exactly how you became the community manager for a franchise like Metal Gear Solid, and how has it been working in and around this project?
Okay. So I've been in the game industry for about 10 years or so. And I mostly worked in publishing. But it's never really what I wanted to do. I've always wanted to be more involved with the studio development side and work directly in the studio environment. So while I was still employed with my former employer, I reached out when I found out that, Kojima Productions was building their own studio in Los Angeles. I reached out to them and said, I'd really be interested in anything you guys could use me in, just because I'm in love with the franchise and I've always wanted to work in a studio environment. And, I'm willing to start at the bottom. Give me, I'll take out your trashes or whatever you guys need me to do in order to, get my foot in the door, really. And they told me that because, they were working on such a storied, project with a lot of backing behind it, they didn't have any openings for beginners in studio development, which was a little bit of a heartbreak for me. But they did notice that I had a lot of years experience in community management, and they said, we actually do need a community manager. I know it's not your ideal position, trying to change things around, but we would love to get you in on an interview and see how things go. And I said, what the heck, at least it'll be a studio and I'll get my foot in the door. And I still love community. There's nothing about it I don't enjoy. It's just I was looking for something new, but I'm happy I found myself in this position. And after a couple of interviews with including a couple surprising ones, I found myself managing this community, and I feel like putting on an old shoe. It's a game I've always been fond of, and even though I'm learning a lot from the existing community and like the different sites that existed and that I hadn't previously visited, it's really easy to get acclimated to this fan base. They're very passionate, and I've been enjoying it ever since.
It's a great story, man. I think it's definitely well needed for the Metal Gear franchise, and I definitely can say you've done a great job. Speaking from the PC side of things, we see you interacting with everybody on the Steam forums and stuff like that. So thank you very much. Our next question is coming from your good buddy, Young.
All right, so I'm just going to dive right into it. I'm going to ask one question from myself, and a bunch from all the community because they have tons and tons of questions. So first of all, congrats on the amazing reviews that you've been getting. I agree with everything they say. I mean, 10 out of 10, hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. And yeah, congrats on finally getting this game out. I mean, it's been a long journey, and here we are finally. So
we're almost there. Couple more days. Couple more days.
Few more days.
There we go. Yeah. So one thing that I want to ask is, after the release of Phantom Pain, do you think we can expect post-release content, say extra missions, extra storylines, weapons, equipment, maybe extra buddies in the form of DLC, or is this the final game?
I will, say that this is pretty much the final game. There isn't a lot of content on the way, but that's not to say there isn't a lot to do after the game launches beyond simply playing through the main campaign. Obviously, there's forward operating bases, and in October, you guys look forward to the MGO. And in the meantime, one of my jobs, in fact, I would consider it my main job. My main job hasn't been done yet. Up to this point, I've been doing extra stuff that I still enjoy, but it's not my main job. My main job is to keep the players excited after launch, retaining you guys and keeping you guys excited in the community after you can put your hands on the game and try different things out. So there's a lot of things I still want to do, and a lot of activities I still want to get everybody involved in. And while it's not extra missions and new buddies, thanks for that expectation there. It's still lots of fun, and I think we can enjoy, playing this game and doing different things and testing it out and really pushing it to its limits. So
cool. Well, just get that out of the way now, so people,
right. There has been some rumors.
That's the final game, and trust me, guys, I've played the game for 4 days.
There's always rumors.
There is plenty to do. You're gonna be fine with this game. So anyway. That's that. So Ronin, I guess it's you're up.
All right. So I'm gonna reword my question a little bit here for this next one. So, was there anything that you say you would take from your previous experience working, maybe perhaps management or community management before, that you brought with you for the course of your job working with Metal Gear?
I hope so. So just in general, I think that one of the things that I've learned a long time ago, and have hopefully, kept up this mentality, is treating fans with respect. It's very difficult for people in different positions in any company to see from the perspective of a consumer when they've been from the perspective of, say, a developer or a marketer or a financier or something like that. So they've seen it from a different side. They know what they have to deal with, and oftentimes they'll hear the voice of the consumer asking for something, or wondering why something isn't done a certain way, or wondering why information isn't coming their way, and they may get frustrated, or they may be confused, or they may be disheartened, or they may just want to know more as to why that would come up. Right. And I think one of the key things that I learned a long time ago is you always have to try to see it from the consumer's perspective, because they're the ones that are financing your game ultimately through their purchases. And beyond that, if they're happy, then there's no one else to please. As long as they're, personally enjoying what the game has to offer and the decisions you've made around it, then you've done your job right. So in every sense, you should try to see from their perspective, even no matter what position you are in the company. And thankfully, from my position, it's my job to do so. So I'm always trying to see from the perspective of someone who comes to me with a question. I admit every once in a while I get frustrated, and it's like, okay, come on, I've already explained this like 1,000 times. But regardless,
I guarantee you we're going to ask one of those questions.
Yeah, it's going to happen somewhere.
But regardless, I have to try to keep in mind that sometimes maybe they didn't see what I had said before. There's, not everything is etched in stone up in the sky for everyone to see. Sometimes I have to re-communicate the same message, and that's fine. That's what we have to do, and we should do it, and we should be happy to do it, because we're happy with this game. We're excited to get it out there, and we're excited to show it off. So I think that's one of the main things that I'd like to do, is always keep respect for the players that play this game.
That's fantastic. I think you had that's a fantastic answer, and I think you guys have definitely shown the amount of effort that you've put into doing this over the past year or so, working on the game, and we definitely appreciate the information that you've been giving us about this since then. So good on you guys for that.
I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky to have a team that supports me in all these endeavors. It can be a very daunting task to want to say things and do things and help the community in certain ways, and you don't have the backing of the team behind you. It can be very difficult. But this team has been, for the most part, very cooperative and very helpful and excited to do the things that I want to do. And it's always nice to give an idea to a member of the team and have them come back and say, you know what, that makes sense. You're not crazy. We didn't hire you for no reason. So it's very refreshing to get a lot of support from this team.
That's great, man. That's great. And I definitely need to commend you for, you've done it. Like I said, you've done a great job, especially with a lot of the traditional game media nowadays. They twist a lot of things that people say with like DLC, like we just talked about earlier. There's been hints and stuff from big companies about DLC and then, microtransactions and all this stuff. And you guys have kept level-headed and cool about everything. And I think that's the best way to handle it. But my next question comes from all of the PC gamers out there. I represent a large community of PC gamers, and we're super excited to have this game come to the PC, at least in our community. But how have you received, a new, I guess, group of people into the Metal Gear fan base and franchise? Obviously, you guys have had a couple ports of the game. I know Metal Gear 1 or Metal Gear Solid 1 had a PC version, and then Metal Gear Solid 2 had a port of an Xbox version, but now we have an actual dedicated PC version. So you've got a whole slew of new people who have probably played the game on other consoles. How has it been receiving this community? Is it tough to manage? Because I know a lot of people will tell you PC gamers have some of the highest expectation and standards of any gamers out there because of how customizable and stuff they expect things to be with game settings and all this kind of stuff. So how has it been receiving new PC players, and what's kind of been like the biggest hurdle to get over with PC players?
Well, I think that was about 8 questions, so let me see if I can remember. I mean, actually, I'll tell a little story.
Okay.
A little bit boring,
we love stories here.
Hopefully it'll be informative. So when I first started, that was in October of last year. And the very first thing that they mentioned that they wanted me to work on, no, the second thing they wanted me to work on was getting support or helping support the PC players for the launch of Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes on PC. So, I had a lot of history working with different Steam communities, and not just in my former job, but just in general. I mean, I'm a PC player as well.
Awesome.
Not as hardcore as some, but I definitely try to keep up on the latest tech and at least keep myself aware. My wallet doesn't like it, but I'll do my best.
I don't know whose does.
In general, I thought, well, we're releasing this on Steam, and there's no reason to go anywhere else besides the Steam forums. Even though it's not that common for devs or representatives from the dev team to speak directly on Steam forums. It's usually a support area for players to communicate with each other. But I'd done that before, and I felt like it seemed like a perfectly reasonable take, and so I wanted to approach them directly. But there's certain expectations that come with that kind of communication. Namely, players expect feedback to be heard, and not just by me, but by someone who actually can do something about it.
Right.
Likewise, they want to hear back some updates as to where their feedback went and if it was applied. And so I worked closely with the team, with the producer, and with various representatives in Japan on what exactly were their capabilities that they could explore, and then try to find out if that matches what the players want to see, and if there's some place we're deficient. So that was what we put together as a plan, first of all. So when we looked at the different things that we wanted to add to Ground Zeroes, the PC version, we kind of staggered out the information as to when we wanted to reveal it. Sorry, everyone, we do that. And at the same time, we wanted to find out if there's anything missing. So we put out a few messages early before the game came out and said, this is what we're planning on adding, but tell us what you think of that. If you have any concerns or if you run into any issues, please let us know, and we'll see if we can take care of that. And again, thankfully, I have a very supportive team that was receptive to that kind of communication, and they wanted to do more, and they wanted to listen to what the players wanted to see. And while their time, their production schedule was much shorter than maybe players would have liked to have seen, with a lot of new features added, and just a whole plethora of different Steam-based additions that we couldn't fit in within the time schedule. I still think the players were mostly satisfied, especially because the team was able to optimize it so well,
Right.
While still maintaining some of the cool features like 4K and improved ambient occlusion and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, in general, it's about setting expectations. I want to make sure that players aren't going into something disappointed, and whether that is our fault or not, that's one of the things I'm always looking at is what are their expectations coming in, and what can we do to meet those expectations so that they come away satisfied.
Awesome. I've got one tag-along question that comes from a community member. His name is Maniac. He wants to know if you guys are aware of the AMD Radeon issues with Ground Zeroes, and if that will be affecting the Phantom Pain. And if so, do you guys have plans to fix, or is this something that AMD has to take care of themselves?
Now it's going to sound like that I wrote that question and faked an account or something, because in fact we have 2 Steam messages up about first discovering the issue that players have been reporting, trying to isolate what problems were, and then a follow-up saying that we had actually worked with AMD, and they did already introduce a patch to their recent cards with the new driver update, I believe. So yeah, if you guys have a beta update directly from them, and if you're still running into issues, please report it, and we will take it back to the team. But yeah, the team is aware, and they're working on making sure that that problem doesn't surface for Phantom Pain, and it's a good thing that it was caught on Ground Zeroes, because that's a good way for us to make sure we.
Yes, I was very scared.
Okay, look at that issue for Phantom Pain.
Very, very scared. Yeah. I updated to Windows 10, and I started Ground Zeroes as soon as I got my update done, and I couldn't play, and I had to search on some forums. A couple of users actually found some fixes before AMD did, and they uploaded those. But as far as most people want an official fix. Rather than downloading from people they don't know. So that's great to know that you guys have got that remedied. So yeah, if you guys are in the chat, specifically Maniac and his group of guys, there you go. There's your question answered. Thank you, Robert. Yang, over to you.
Yep. So a lot of people are asking about the Ground Zeroes to Phantom Pain data transfer. So how does that work? I mean, we had vouchers back when Ground Zeroes launched, some codes we could use for Phantom Pain. What happened to that? What transfers over? Every single POW, or just specific ones like the eye and the finger? How does that work?
So I'm not going to say exactly what content transfers over, but it is a select specific content that will transfer over. And the vouchers, I wasn't around when that system was put into place, but going forward, as long as you have the save data on your system, it will be able to transfer over to the Phantom Pain, and you'll be able to acquire those additional resources. So you don't need to enter any codes or implement any vouchers. Simply have the save involved, and it should be okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
Now,
Does that fully answer? Is there something I'm missing?
I just want to know if does the percentage you complete Ground Zeroes affect what transfers over? Like, if you saved this POW or whatever, is that going to be different from someone who, say, didn't save that POW, or does everyone get the same things based on certain things they did?
Okay, you're gonna hate my answer on this one, I think. Okay. Specifically because I brought this up with a couple of members of the team, and at the time that I brought it up, they kind of came back to me. It's like, I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly what the requirements were. But that was just it was an off-the-cuff, statement. So I don't have a definitive answer for you exactly what is required. But my understanding is that it's not difficult. Mm-hmm. So I don't think you need a full 100%. I don't think you need to do some wacky combination of different activities or extract by a Jeep every single soldier on the base or anything like that. That seemed a little bit extreme. I think it's actually really simple, and I haven't had time since I last had that conversation to find out what the exact answer is. Okay. But I do plan on bringing that up with the team next week, just to see can you guys give me a definitive answer exactly what is needed. But from my understanding, talking with the team members that I have spoken to on the subject, is that it's not complicated. So I wouldn't worry too much. And if you don't get it right away, we'll find out exactly what it is so that
Okay.
I can
Perfect.
communicate that to you and you guys aren't lost or anything.
Okay, my assumption is just
Awesome.
I think you beat ground zeros and that'll transfer over. Right? That's my personal.
Probably.
Maybe
It's
those
probably
soldiers
very
that you can
simple.
find out there in the field. I know there's so many people were talking about you can find soldiers from the original Ground Zeroes in the game, like while you're traveling.
I mean,
something like
I
that.
was speculating all it was is if you have the game. Like you
Okay.
made a save at some point and that was enough.
Yeah,
I don't know
makes
for
sense.
sure, so I'm not,
Well,
I can't give you 100% like I know it because I don't.
Right.
But I
So-
remember discussing it and it was like, no, it can't be that complicated.
Cool.
I'm sure it's a very
Gotcha.
simple thing.
I've got a tag-on question for that. Is that is that particular thing, the Ground Zeroes transfer data? Is that what Kojima's been talking about, where he says he's doing something that's never been done in gaming before? Is it related to that, or is this a whole separate subject?
I'm not familiar with that quote, so I don't know what he's referring to
Well,
specifically.
Yeah, they said something between Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain is going to do something that's never been done before, and everybody's kind of I guess forgotten about it, and I think about it every day.
Well, thanks for dredging up the past.
Such
I
a
don't know.
right.
I have to ask them very specifically, what exactly did he mean at this moment? I don't know, 3 years ago? Like,
Who knows
Not-
what Kojima
I-
ever means? I mean,
It's probably the
Seriously.
I'm not
the horse being
precisely
able
sure
to shit.
exactly
It's-
what he was referring to, but yeah,
It's definitely
I mean,
the horse
there-
being
there
able
could
to
be a lot of
defecate.
variety
That's what
of
it is.
Yeah, that's
horse
true.
pooping. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
it's never
Yep.
been done
it's
before.
it's
It
probably
really
not
hasn't.
some major secret though that you haven't seen.
Cool.
It's
Looking
probably a
forward
lot
to
of stuff that you're aware of already.
Uh, Roden, I think you're up, buddy.
All right, so looking back at your career with working with Metal Gear Solid 5 so far, what would you say is probably the most memorable moments that have stuck with you up to this point?
I really liked revealing MGO at the TGAs. That was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Seeing Kiefer Sutherland speak on stage was pretty
Oh,
amazing. He was there backstage with us, and I.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I talked to him for I don't know half a second. He was mostly just like working with the stage director and the production people in the back just to know where his monitor would be so he could read what was prepared for him to say or what he prepared to say or something. And then he went out there and just did whatever the hell he wanted, which was awesome because it came off as completely sincere, and I believe it was sincere, and it was really wonderful to see a major mega star like that just wax poetic about his involvement in the series, and I really enjoyed just seeing that in front of me. So that was a really good memory. Do you want more than one? That's
Sounds
just one.
Oh yeah, if there's anything else besides that one, feel free to talk about it. It's great.
Well, man, in the same moment, I really enjoyed the audience reaction to the MGO announcement and like watching the videos afterwards. Sheikah's Cloud comes to mind. His reaction video was pretty awesome. I think that was the first one I watched, and I was like, that's what we wanted. And a few others I watched, and I remember Perfect Self put out something that was like immediately critical, not in a mean way, but like just immediately like breaking down like what he did and did not like about it. And I was like, oh, holy crap, we have a work cut out for us. We got to make sure that these guys are pleased. There's I've talked to them a lot since then, and I don't think he'll be let down. I don't think he has been let down. I think just in general, he and other fans have really enjoyed what they've seen.
Yeah,
I think they're just anxious to play themselves. Yeah. And,
for sure.
I'm anxious to play with them. I want to watch them do his little triangle trick and shot me from 100 yards away. So we'll see what happens.
The infamous
awesome.
triangle trick.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite conspiracy theory that's been put out?
I really like Python Skeletons, man. I loved those videos. Those were awesome.
Yeah, they're really
Like I
well
was
made.
like, man, he's really put a lot.
Yeah,
it's like you
Yeah,
thought it
really
through.
well
put
It's like,
together.
no. I got to write timelines, and I'm going to write a storyboard, and then I'm going to take like every line. I'm going to pull a daily, and I'm going to pull out like some quote from 4 years ago that is now just becoming relevant. When
I am
of course,
Python
that's
Selkin.
It's that much forethought. I mean, It's awesome.
Goodness.
It's awesome to see not just his, but like anybody's conspiracy
Right.
theory or
Yeah.
I don't even want to say conspiracy. They're just their story theories.
Yeah.
What they think
Right.
is
That's what I mean.
is the real tale to be told. And
Right.
yeah, you guys know that the franchise has set forth the expectation that things can get a little wacky and a little mysterious. And
Oh yeah.
so people coming up with what may seem at the time wild theories, often pan out to be, whoa, they weren't that far off.
Plausible.
Or they get a couple of things right that people didn't expect, and they're like, well, I mean, we're the fans, we're really following it. But same token, I think there's a few surprises in this game that people might not have expected. So I hope they enjoy it.
That's
awesome.
great. All right, so my next real question goes back into PC. Me being a PC player, definitely want to get some PC answers. So this one, hope it's not too hard for you, but we just learned that we're not getting an iDroid app, and we're curious if there's a reason why we're not getting it, and if we might get one in the future, or if we're just not getting one, period. And if that's so, what are we actually losing out on?
Well, the iDroid app is available for other console platforms.
Right.
And, it's not going to be available for PC, not now, and unfortunately not in any time in the foreseen future. You won't be able to expect that for the PC version. And of course, we apologize for not being able to fulfill that expectation that players had. I don't have any specific reason why it wasn't included. It wasn't, I can say it wasn't cut for content reasons or anything. It's there's just only so much time in the day. But
Okay.
Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. But I hope you guys can try it out on the console version as well. But if you just stick with PC, don't worry. There's still a really strong game experience waiting for you.
Awesome.
So don't miss it too much. Hopefully.
All right. Perfect. Young, take it away, buddy.
Yeah, so speaking of MGO, Stephen Broly from YouTube asks, will we be able to customize our own character, and what game modes will we be getting?
Those are two very different questions.
I know.
So the second one I can't answer at all at this point, unfortunately.
Okay.
As I mentioned a couple times in different places, right now we're still promoting the sale and release of Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain.
Mm-hmm.
Metal Gear Online, coming out October 6th, will have its time to showcase some new stuff. I can't say when, but look forward to that, and we'll provide more information on it. I know you guys are like going, oh, well, why even have this interview? Come on.
It's okay. No, look,
It's totally fine, man.
There were. I just want to make sure that you guys know that it's not something we've forgotten about. It's just we have a schedule that we're sticking to, and down the road we will show you some more stuff about MGO. In terms of customization, just as a reminder, I have said in the past that there is customization options to allow players to modify their characters in different ways. I'm not going to go into too much detail. We've shown a couple things out there.
Yep.
You might have even seen a secret little shot that we kind of snuck into a fairly known question that was responded to a couple months back. But just in general, it's definitely a game that allows you to customize your character in a lot of ways.
Okay.
Awesome.
Fair enough.
Cool.
That's a good answer.
Ronin.
All right. So my next question is a very serious one. It's going to be a bit of real talk for a second. So just how much has the Phantom Pain consumed your life over the past year?
Well, let me just give you an example. Today is Friday. I'm at PAX. Tomorrow and Sunday, I will also be at PAX. This last week, I was out and about in LA doing lots of different things. The week before that, I was doing a review event until late into the evening.
Yep.
Before that, I was in Chile promoting the game. I think I've missed now 4 weekends with my family.
Oh my god.
With just a few hours here and there. I get those heartbreaking messages from my kids telling me they miss me, so I miss them too. Hi guys, if you're watching this. But it's the kind of thing I'm used to in terms of when you're getting closer and closer to the launch date, and there's nothing to complain about. This is what I want.
Yeah.
I want to see this game do super well, and in order for it to do super well, I mean, myself and lots of other hardworking individuals, both in the United States, Europe, Japan, and other places of the world, are actively working super hard, long hours, and lengthy weekends to get it where it needs to be. So that's just part of the process, and it's going to be completely worth it. We all know this to be true.
Oh, that's awesome.
My next question goes back to MGO. So if you can't answer it, that's just fine. Not a problem. But this comes from the community. A lot of different users asking if you can clarify if MGO will be class based or if it'll just be kind of your own customization, or if you'll be in classes, and then do the maps draw from the single player content.
So I can't tell you what maps there are.
Right, not what maps, but if the maps draw from the open world map.
Just whether or not it's there. Yeah, the maps do draw from the Phantom Pain.
Okay.
So that is the theme of the maps, but beyond that, I can't really say what
maps
you'll see. Yeah, the whole game, really. I mean, not just the maps. It's disingenuous to specify the maps alone. The whole game of Metal Gear Online is pulled from both the moves and the gameplay and the structure and aesthetic of the Phantom Pain. So if you're wondering, hey, what does this game look like? We have two main sources. One is the trailer and screenshots we released back in December, and the other one is the game that's coming out in a couple days.
Perfect.
So those are your two main sources to understand what does Metal Gear Online look like. But obviously all the multiplayer aspects will be revealed in different ways as we get closer to launch. And then the other question was...
Is it class-based?
Class-based.
Okay.
So there are classes in the game. Again, I can't go into detail as to what those are or how they work. But yeah, it is class-based in the sense that you choose a class when you're playing the game.
Perfect. That's I don't think the Metal Gear community wants you to spoil it anyways. I think they're just trying to get some general...
No, they do. No, they really do. Believe me, I completely get that they absolutely do. You don't have to defend it. It's okay. I understand. They want to know a lot more than what I told them. I get it. I really get it.
Well, I like to
see that down the road. I'm sorry it can't come sooner, but that's the way it has to be, unfortunately.
Hey, you know.
Not a problem. Young, your next question for Robert.
Okay, so a lot of people are asking, what does, and I know we're focusing on Metal Gear Solid 5, but a lot of people are also concerned that maybe Metal Gear might, with Silent Hill turning into a pachinko thing. Are we going to see Metal Gear as a game, or are we going to see it turn into a pachinko? Just that general, you don't need to be specific about what we're going to see in the future, but is it going to be a game?
I will do you one better. I'm not going to be specific or general. I can't comment on any future titles or releases or anything related to what Metal Gear or any other franchise will turn into. It's simply that it's a franchise the company is still interested in, as we mentioned many months ago.
Okay. Damn it. Well, just praying it's not pachinko.
You didn't get me.
It's okay. Ronan, your next question.
You weren't the first. You won't be the last. It's okay.
All right.
All right, so this question I'm actually going to pull from the chat because quite a few people were asking it, in fact. A while back, there was an interview with Kojima talking about being able to create custom missions. Can you confirm or deny if that's still in the game or if that's been removed or anything like that? If you can't talk about it, it's totally fine, but...
Creating custom missions?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not precise on the context of that statement, but
okay.
In terms of like creating like the objectives of a mission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is for Phantom Pain single player.
Yeah,
I think what Kojima was talking about was the
great custom missions.
What's it called? Where you deploy your soldiers, the menu based.
Right.
That's I think what he was talking. Where you can because I saw while I was playing.
You mean combat deployments?
Yeah, I think wasn't there something there where you could have people like make deployments for you, where you can deploy your soldiers or something. There was some kind of online connectivity there.
There's a. It's not online. It's simply part of the main game. So when you have enough staff on your mother base, you can send them out on what are called combat deployments. And this is just missions they go on that you don't attend. They simply do it themselves. They may take vehicles or resources and they accomplish certain objectives and they come back with the rewards.
Okay. Makes sense. All right, cool.
So if that's what you're referring to, yes, that is there.
I was under the impression it was something like a trials where you could go out and do something and then upload your stat. Like I blew up this this air defense thing in 3 minutes. Can you beat that time? That's what I thought. That's what I got from it. Is that something that you can do, like time trials
leaderboards, you mean?
almost?
Well, that's yeah. If you were talking about a leaderboard, FOB has a ranking system.
Okay.
That might be what you're referring to, but in terms of combat deployments and like doing better than other players in combat deployments, I don't think that system exists. That
Well, I was
in
actually
general,
I was
when it
referring
comes
to
back,
the main game.
Right.
The main game, like you're playing as Snake or one of the other soldiers actually in the Phantom Pain. Like for instance, you and Greg Miller in your last Let's Play did clearing an outpost. That's the
Right.
impression that I was getting. If not, at least we've covered both subjects. Can you go and tackle a mission and then upload your score and then challenge your friend to beat that?
I mean, just to say, in terms of what you're describing, it can be done. So,
Okay.
for instance, if you get a score at the end of a mission and you like it, you use your share function in both Xbox One or PS4 and upload that screenshot and then share that with your friends and say, beat that.
Okay,
I mean,
so it's not like built into the game.
Right.
Yeah, there's not an in-game function.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
Share this specifically with your friends to go to konami.com/MGS5 or anything like that. It's not
Right. I think
like
there was a game that did this where it had like quests in the game and you could go do the quest and like complete it. I think it was one of them, the new zombie games. And then you could share that mission directly to your friends and your friends would click OK and they would load up that same mission and they would try and beat your score and it would compare you guys' stats.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I'm not quite sure what that was.
I hope, just for the sake of hilarity, that's really what you guys were thinking about, or is other games when you're asking these
No,
questions?
I
heard somebody say.
It was definitely in
There's a
in
game
an
that
interview
does
with
this.
Kojima. It was definitely there. I know exactly
Yeah, I don't
what
know.
it's talking about. Okay, well, like I said, even if it's not that, and if it's the other thing we talked about, either way, we covered both topics.
Yeah, yeah. So that's totally fine.
In general, I apologize, but it's hard for me to say, oh, when Kojima said this thing 2 years ago, he
Right.
meant this.
No,
Like,
we totally get
it's
it.
harder
man.
for me to
Look.
remember exactly.
Yeah,
what you're
that's fine.
referring
That's
to.
fine.
I've got you covered because I got a question that you can't
I'm not
answer.
sure about that one, kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, let's go.
It's
Don't
totally
worry.
fine.
I got a question that you can't answer. Don't worry. So my next question for you is, in regards to replayability of the game, is this game diverse enough through its story and through its missions that it's going to warrant multiple playthroughs? Like, is there enough variation where you can do one thing one way and then replay the game in a completely separate way and get a slightly different story overall?
I can answer that for you, yes.
I was gonna. You stole my thunder because I was gonna say I think Yang can answer that question just as well as I, having played enough of the game to say whether or not that's true.
Absolutely.
Right.
Freaking
So not just
expound upon that. How much diversity is there in replayability? Is there, Yang? What else can you do?
to clarify, just so we're
Switch
clear.
me on the screen. He should be on the bottom, and I should be on your left. Just
I
tell me,
don't, I
what
don't
do you
necessarily-
think, sir? What do you think?
I don't mean necessarily in just in play style, but is there like different different story options or different missions that will open up according to how you play? For instance, like Mass Effect, you can play good guy or bad guy, so it warrants like at least two
I feel like
playthroughs.
if I answer this question, it's spoiling the game. To be perfectly honest,
Really?
like I think I want you guys to play the game and try out a mission and try out various side ops and see what results depending on what you did in.
Okay, suffice to say that certain
find
things for me unlocked at different times than for other people.
Okay.
That's all I'll say about that. And that
That's
for
great.
me was surprising. He was looking at my screen. He goes, "Hey, I haven't gotten there yet." But then I look at his screen, and he was like ahead in certain missions than I was, and it was weird. So stuff like that can happen. So that's
Right.
Okay.
I guess
Makes
as
sense.
far as I can.
So now
see
we
it.
know Yang's willing to spoil that for you, and I'm not. But
Savage.
you know what?
Well,
To
see,
each his own, right? I mean,
No, it's
I think it's important though because this could be the last game that we have for quite some time. Metal Gear doesn't seem like it's on one of those yearly cycles, so I think a lot of
Thank
players
God.
are.
Yeah.
I think a lot of players are concerned that when they don't want to beat the game too fast. Like for me, I accidentally beat Fallout 3 on accident. I had no idea I was done with
right.
the game, and I think a lot of people
Yeah,
are worried
I know what you're talking
that
about.
that might happen.
Yeah.
With the Phantom Pain. That's great that it's not.
Now, on the
Hopefully-
topic of variety, though, you can, when you go further into the game, you keep unlocking new weapons and whatever, right?
Right.
and you will unlock a certain weapon, and then you look back to whatever mission 1, and you'll be like, hey, I can do this now that I can do before, and then you just want to go back and replay that mission. And that's happened to me multiple times. I didn't, because I didn't have time to go back and replay. You know, I wanted to finish the game, but there's that element to it too. So there's
this is especially true, I would say, for the objective system. So each mission having different objectives,
hidden objectives.
You'll see some that you're like, I could possibly do that with what I have now, but it's going to be quite a task. So maybe I should wait till I upgrade some of these weapons or get different resources at my disposal, and then I can just accomplish it much more easily. But also in a way that might be more satisfying too.
Yep.
All right. Young, you actually have the next question, buddy, so take it away.
Okay, KMAC32.
We just hit the 30-minute mark, by the way, just so you know.
KMAC32 from YouTube asks, if I buy TPP on my Xbox 360 and I want to transfer my save data to Xbox One, will I be able to do that, or are they separate?
Yeah. Can you put down like that URL, like right here, where it just points to that chart that's on the Metal Gear Solid 5? Because there's, I
don't know.
Basically, that is the answer. Is that yes, you can transfer content from 360 to Xbox One.
Awesome.
You guys should tweet it. You know.
I'm sure
that information's out.
Yeah, we already put it here.
Well, he's asking, so I guess it's not out enough. I don't know.
It's there.
But anyway, that's
all right. Well,
that's my community question.
All right.
I guess Ronin.
Unless I misunderstood the question. I mean, I guess I mean, go ahead.
What he wrote word for word was, if I buy
it.
TPP on my 360, will my save data transfer over to the Xbox One?
Ah, okay. No, you're right. That is my bad.
Okay.
So,
damn it, Robert.
I was thinking of the GZ. I was thinking of the GZ stuff. So, yeah, just edit this in post, right? No. Well, wait, we're live. Oh, dang it. Okay,
yeah,
so
there's only 900 people here.
Yeah, it's no pressure. No pressure.
No, yeah. I don't think so.
Okay. Fair enough.
Sorry.
Okay, perfect.
Right.
Ronin, your turn.
They're not cross-compatible games.
All right. I have another community question coming from Twitter. This one is from @Prawns on Twitter. Did you get a chance to see Greg Miller's Let's Play of the game on YouTube?
I think he was there live.
I was there.
Oh, okay, just making sure. But he says
he was literally in.
Just making sure.
Let's Play.
Just making sure.
That was hologram.
It was body double.
Exactly. This is Metal Gear after all. You never know.
Body double.
Fox engine technology. You know, holographic display.
Yeah, exactly. Scan me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there we go.
Sorry. Okay. Yes,
but in a serious question, he's asking.
You guys are watching it.
This is a serious question. He's saying that how sad it must have been to see him fail. Was it sad to see him fail at Phantom Pain?
Poor Greg.
You guys are meaner than me. Like,
hey, it's not my question. That's them. That's them,
I was pretty mean.
You were mean. Yeah, I'm watching the Let's Play, and I'm like,
so
Rob, I just see your face, and he can't because he's looking at the screen, and I'm so glad you put the sunglasses on at one point because you were just killing him with your eyes.
It's like, oh, come on. No,
Greg.
No, he. Let's just be honest. He was one of the players who pretty much beat the game at the review event. So you have no cause for doubt as to whether or not Greg Miller is good or not good at Metal Gear. But we did film that Let's Play on Monday of the review week, and it had been long months since he had played it. And so, you know, it's kind of just like him catching up to it.
Right.
Which, by the way, we love you. We love you, Greg. We're sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's like watching people play games
and
online.
We're being too mean. I'm like, yeah, and you get frazzled. And I
exactly.
I love it.
I was
you're
specifically cruel.
Yeah.
Pointing out every flaw that could possibly even come up. I do that. I mean, the thing is, I feel like I'm a decent player, but I'm not so great to be, you know, not
making
outdone
fun
by
of people.
various other people.
Yeah,
but I'll happily be a hypocrite. And
I loved it. I loved it. He got through one particular mission almost like completely undetected, and then Robert's like, "Hey, you need to go get that tape. Like, go get it. Like, you have no choice with the tape." And then you got caught. He was genuinely.
You can't get away with like, oh, perfect sneak. I didn't do anything in it, but you know, like you just dip in and out of a mission and then like do the one thing. That's come on. That's amateur hour.
True story.
Robert Peeler,
Whatever.
definitely.
Yeah, but that. I mean, it's hard to see things like that. And when you're playing games in front of a crowd of people, whether that be online or not, there's moments where you're not as adept as you would think you would be when you have a crowd of people watching you. So it can be hard to do things like that.
Let's play curse, as they call it.
Yes, exactly. And granted for me, because I haven't seen the Let's Play, I've been trying to stay away from as much of that content as possible up until it releases.
Everything in those Let's Plays has already been shown, really.
I know, but still, I'm trying to. I want to go as fresh as possible. That's why I haven't seen anything like that at all. So,
I mean, for those complaining about spoilers, don't watch the damn Let's Play. I mean, I don't understand the logic.
The Let's Play had no spoilers that I saw, really.
Well, Young, this is why I'm the community manager. I will listen to the perspective of those who might be concerned about what information might come from these Let's Plays and show up on Twitter unbeknownst to them, who are innocently traveling through the interwebs and find out information they never wanted to know. So I can completely understand their perspective, and we still made it anyway. But still, as long as you're sensitive to that concern, as long as you get it.
Man, you have a tough job, my friend.
Yep. So I'd like to clear this up right now. I think this is. Oh, sorry. We're lagging a little bit here, so I wasn't trying to cut you off. Did you have something else you wanted to add?
There we go.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm actually curious and hopeful. There, I'll even use this as an opportunity. So if you're out there watching this, and I hope you're not, because I'm very embarrassing, but if you are, the guys over at United, I really, really, really want to do a show with you so that you can either A, show me up in everything that I say, or just to have fun. I just want to see your skills, like, as players firsthand, not through Twitch. I want to just be there with you and watch the hands go and accomplish, spinning around with croc heads on in different places, as you've done in MGS3. And so reach out to me and let me know when you guys want to play together, because I would love to see a new show, with them in it. And
we're gonna make this happen.
Be there. So, I don't even know how the format needs to be. Just I want to be there somehow, and I want them to be there somehow, and I want everyone to laugh at somebody, either
wormhole
them
extraction,
or me or both of us. It would just something fun in relation to good players and the guy who pretends to be good. So
all right.
Well, we're in the business of making things happen. We get voice actors jobs all the time, so we'll make sure we'll handle this. Why do you have to spoil
don't let him like that.
Just spoils you just spoiled it, man. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, man.
Don't let him like that.
That's the ending of the game. We don't give voice actors jobs. That's the whole. That's
it was a job head.
Right, now we just got to edit this part out in the archive version. Make sure nobody.
We can beep the whole thing.
Yeah.
So my next question for you, Robert, is one it's been answered 8 times, but it really needs to come from your mouth. Can you please tell us in words the release schedule for the Phantom Pain? Because some people are saying you can play it Monday during the day. Some people say you can play it on Tuesday at 12:01. Some people say you can play it Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Some people say they're playing it right now. What is the release date and time schedules for the
This
Phantom?
is really easy.
Okay.
9/1.
9/1. But look,
next question.
That's not so easy.
The console versions are slated to release midnight Eastern of 9/1.
Mm-hmm.
And the official cutoff time for when you can last pre-purchase the Steam version is 10 a.m. 9/1 Pacific time.
Okay.
But, read between the lines. There's a soft launch of downloadability for the Steam version, potentially anywhere between midnight New Zealand 9/1 and any other time zone within. But
when you say soft launch, so we're clear, that means you can pre-download it, but you cannot start the EXE, or will you actually be able to physically play?
You should actually be able to play the game. But let's keep the spoilers to a minimum for all those people in the next few hours.
Right.
But I mean,
because we're getting close.
I want to be sensitive about this, but at the same time, it's literally hours.
Yeah.
So let's not split hairs here. It is hours of time.
Right.
So hopefully no one is negatively affected, and I apologize that the Earth is not round, or the Earth is round and is not. Still does have time zones and variety of other things that will affect launches for different people. Right. We're not trying to be unfair to anybody, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Right. I definitely agree. And if you're one of those people who starts up the game, plays the hospital scene, and then spoils it for the rest of the world, you're a jerk. So there you go.
I mean, there's those people out there. You can't rule that out.
Just know that you're a jerk if you do that. So regardless of that,
that's Swish. That's Daily, and then the Codec, and his address is. If you want to write to him,
what do all the professionals say in their Twitter bio? My opinions are my own. I think that's the thing in everybody's.
That never means anything to anybody. You can say that all day long, but if
my
you say
opinions
stupid,
are my own.
Throw it at you.
We all get dragged down with
rightfully
it.
So.
I think everybody agrees with me all the time. So, regardless of that, Young, your next question for Robert.
All right. So this next user, Matt Smoke, basically asks, what can we expect from the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 versions of the game? Have you tried it? Is it playable? Because they're significantly less powerful.
Yeah.
But do they look good?
Yes, they look good. They're playable. They work well. They have all the same content. You're not missing out on anything except some better graphics.
Okay. So
and some more consistent frame rates. So, but it still plays super well. It pushes the system to its limitations, and people can see that the game is very well done on all consoles, including Xbox 360 and PS3. And you don't have to take my word for it, but you can also check out the various articles that have gone up, and then the comparisons between consoles, and shown that plays really well on everything. So no worries at all if you don't have the current gen yet.
Okay.
Right, and
it's
some
got the
people
same functionality, such as FOB and all the multiplayer components.
Yeah, the only difference is that for MGO, the max players are limited to 12 on the Xbox 360 and PS2 versions, whereas the Xbox One and PS4 versions can carry up to 16 players.
Okay.
But for this initial launch on 9/1, it's not affected. Everything is the same. So go ahead and enjoy what console you have.
Great.
Perfect.
In fact, I will say that people have also asked, is it cross-platform? And it's not. And you guys can look forward to me playing on every platform there is, because I want to be able to play with and do FOB and do different activities with every player, regardless of what they play on. So
cool. Great.
Damn, you guys
you all
for
have a
not
chance
using
to
Windows
destroy
10.
my mother base. Okay.
Us three will team up against you, Robert, for not giving us an answer on the pachinko.
There's no co-op. No co-op.
No co-op?
So.
Oh, well. We'll take turns.
We didn't even ask that question. You just hurt our feelings on purpose.
Why don't I just conduct this interview? I know all the questions you guys are going to ask. So.
Yeah, we'll just be quiet. You just go ahead and spout them all off as soon as you know. But I think that question is actually really important, because I have seen games come out for other platforms, and then you play like the older gen, and it's laggy as hell. And I'm like, why am I even? It's like playing on a Game Boy. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm glad that you guys were able to kind of keep functionality between all the different platforms. It's awesome. Ronan, I think you're up, buddy.
All right, I hopefully have a question here that you can answer, no problem. So, barring the Phantom Pain, besides that, what is your favorite game in the series?
In the Metal Gear Solid series, or the Metal Gear?
Yes. Metal Gear Solid series. It could be both, actually. Metal Gear Solid, whichever one.
Before Phantom Pain came out, it was 3 for sure.
Nice. All right.
My favorite personal boss is the Fury. So.
Yes.
We just interviewed Heather.
I could do that boss.
She would love it.
I could do that boss fight like 1,000 times over. It's just so much fun.
Yeah, it is, definitely. I agree.
It doesn't get any easier for some reason, but it's still.
No, it doesn't. I die every time I go to it, at least once.
Yeah.
I remember watching your Let's Play on it during the Metal Gear week that you just did. It was hilarious.
Jeez.
Our next question comes from V Prime in our chat. He's one of our subscribers, and that's why we're asking this question live right now. He says, given the game's dark and serious nature revolving around choices Big Boss and that we make for him, has this game brought any life changes for you and the way that you make decisions in the game? Like, do you knowingly, since you're playing Big Bosses in a darker tone, do you tend to kill people more often? Do you tend to make Big Boss try and be a bad guy?
I mean, my play style is infiltration. I like to go stealth as much as possible.
Yep.
So no.
Okay.
But if that's not just, I mean, you know, you're asking me, but you could ask anybody that question, and you get a completely different answer.
Right.
So
they must know
plenty of people
you
who-
specifically. He asked. So
Yeah, for me it's infiltration. I kill less for sure.
okay.
But I feel like it's still a lot of fun, even for me, who, you know, typically likes to do stealth and not being seen, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I like to go in guns blazing on certain missions and just be like, this is awesome. I'm gonna pull out a rocket launcher and blow that helicopter away, and then I'm gonna grab my sniper
Awesome.
rifle and pick everybody off left and right. And I love distractions. That's like my favorite
Right.
element of gameplay in this game.
You just
my
don't like
favorite,
Greg's way of distracting people by getting seen first.
Yeah, that's a way. It is a way. I'm not gonna, you know, say that's not true. It is something you can do, but it doesn't work as well down the road.
Right.
My favorite distraction is decoys.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
they're-
Yes.
Intensely fun. Like, from the simple ones that just blow up a balloon to the really complicated ones that shock you.
Right.
I love just throwing them out and not inflating them, and like taking a back road and seeing like a patrol of 4 get closer and closer to it, and then right when they're almost on top of it, you know, trigger it and it pops up, and then they're just kind of like, they're talking to it for a little bit, and like,
yeah.
then they start
That's
poking,
cool.
then they start poking it, and then they're like, wait, it's fake, and then they shoot it out, and then they radio, and they're like, there's something going on here.
Yeah.
There's like a fake guy.
Somebody put up a
I don't know what's
balloon.
going on.
We should
And
definitely
all
go
that
on alert.
time,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. All that time they're spending with that decoy, I've
Infiltrating.
fultoned like a tank. I've like taken out 6 other guys that are on the other side. I've you know, disabled both their snipers on the mountain ridge, and they're the only ones left. And you know, to borrow an experience from a separate game, if you played Batman Arkham
Yes.
Asylum,
Yeah.
those early infiltrations where you isolate each individual and then get them scared.
Yeah.
And the Phantom Pain, I like to imagine that the last few guys are like terrified because like they go back to where that tank was and it's gone, and they just see guns on the ground of the guys that you
Right.
Fulton. Or maybe they hear like a
Notice that.
stray scream from the mountaintops, and they're like, just their hands are shaking and they're not sure what to do, and they saw that guy. They swore they saw a guy. They could have sworn he was there, you know, and they're just terrified.
I think in your playthrough you mentioned that people will notice, like, if trucks are gone, you said he would say, like, I left the truck right here, and the other guy would be like, no, you didn't. So I think that's
yeah.
good.
There was
pretty cool.
some dialogue where there was a guy who was like, "Hey, has anyone seen my truck? I sworn it was parked like right here." And the other guy's like, "You probably left it somewhere, or someone probably borrowed it." And like they just don't, you know, they're not wising up to his
Right.
concerns. They're just like, you're not a very good soldier anyway, so I'm not gonna believe you.
All right, so quickly, the last question that V Prime has for you is, not including the characters in the Phantom Pain's buddy system already, from the entire franchise, who is somebody you would like to see as a buddy in the Phantom Pain?
It's a buddy.
Yeah, the ones that you can take out on missions. If you can pick anybody, bad guys included.
Vulcan.
The Vulcan buddy would be pretty.
That would be pretty cool.
That guy would just like stand and make speeches and then electrocute someone.
He'd be
He'd
running
make a
off to go
decoy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That Yang, he's pretty much a decoy, just causes distractions.
He'd be very
No,
unreliable.
I
He'd
would
be
say-
sneaking off Rykov all the time. So
I would say Blade Wolf.
Yeah.
Ah, nice.
That would be a good decoy.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it has a lot of the same characteristics as D-Dog, but also you could
but
say it has characteristics of D-Walker, and, you know,
Yeah.
it causes mayhem and it's fast. And,
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay.
I gotta go with Ocelot. I mean, that's
Right. I
gotta
would love to
happen
have
someday, man. He
Ocelot.
spin
That
his
would be pretty
guns,
cool.
shoot everyone, bam.
Yeah,
Thank you,
that'd be
support
pretty
buddy.
I think I would take the pain. I think I would love shooting bees at people. I think it
You
would.
would.
I
You
think it
would.
would be or wasps or whatever his particular.
We should make the pain like just grenade that you just throw it. It's just a burst of bees.
And when it bursts, it goes pain.
There you go.
Look at that. All right, you can cut us all checks when you have that for
Yeah,
DLC.
man. It's already copyrighted.
No, I didn't hear anything you guys were talking about. That I was thinking to myself. But.
Right.
We weren't here the whole time.
We got about 20 minutes left. Unless Robert, you have more time. I don't know what your time frame looks like. We're having such a great time with you. We tend to have like the guests like you have these great long explanations for everything that really just answer, but it like eats the time. So I don't want to cut us short. But if you have to go, how much time do you have?
I'm okay for now.
Okay.
Let's just see where the
Robert's
day
like,
takes
these
us. But
questions
you
are
have
too intense.
So
Gotta get
let's
outta
see
here.
where the deed take. Yeah, let's do it. All right, y'all.
the first question I can't answer, I'll be like, all right, see ya.
Yeah. that's what
So
Hater,
the next question, right?
Hater and Quentin did to us. They're like, all right, it's been great, but we gotta go. Young, go
I got a
ahead.
place to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
PAX. Yeah, absolutely. What are so this next question comes from Miyamoto Musashi, and he asks about post-launch patches. There's been rumblings about some day one patches possibly coming out with Phantom Pain. Do you know anything about that? And
Didn't we already answer that question?
patches?
This
isn't.
That
Yeah.
was like the first question.
No, like because he heard we've been hearing rumblings about patches coming out on day one.
Not DLC. We talked about DLC.
Yeah, not DLC.
Oh,
Just patches
just
like
patches.
So you're differentiating. As,
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't really say actually.
Really.
Oh wow.
Sorry.
Secret patch.
They're gonna pull a Mass Effect where they put in a Prothean and then the first day one day one DLC.
I know
Prothean.
you have to install the game, so I'll tell you that.
All right. Well.
Thanks, Robert.
Oh,
you were-
that was
if you
hot
were
news
curious.
drops.
Robert Peeler,
That was hot
Yeah.
news.
community manager.
my mic?
Ronan, you want to take it away, or
Actually,
you have a
just-
different one?
Yeah,
Since-
Yummy Pie asks, any plans to bring the Legacy Collection for PC? Now that we have been seeing Metal Gear Solid
We'll say
5,
yes.
Phantom Pain for PC, do you have plans to get these other
Did you
games?
whisper say yes?
I said, please say yes. I'll buy it right now. I think
I wish you said
I
that
would
even more
give you-
subtly. I wish you were just like sitting back there going.
Say yes.
Look, I'm
No, nothing I can announce, unfortunately.
Okay.
Okay. Nothing you can
God.
announce. See, there's a distinction there.
Uh-huh.
I can read you like a book, Robert.
we're good at picking this up. You're
We're
James
gonna split hairs. We're gonna split hairs on this one.
haranguing us right now.
Oh, jeez, we're still going with that.
That's our thing. James haranguing us is a thing. Okay, that's where you forget about everything that you literally just worked on purpose. To
What am I doing here?
Yeah. Sorry, who
What
are you guys?
again?
Let's go through these questions
Yeah.
one more time.
Let's see. All right, Ronan, take it away, bud.
All right, so actually I have two questions here. One's from the community and one's a personal question for me. This one comes from @ZenBaka on Twitter. He says, will the Phantom Pain have a new game plus feature, if you could talk about that at all?
I can't say.
Okay, that's totally fine. And then my second question to add on to that, we talked a little bit about, the work that, or you go into separate events and talk about the game and show off the game. But my question is, just how much work goes into prepping for big events like PAX, for example, or E3 for you personally?
Not that much personally. Fortunately, I have a team of people who do that work
Right.
for the most part. I used to do a lot of planning for E3, and I wasn't completely uninvolved this most recent one, but a lot of really talented and creative people came up with the majority of that work. So I don't want to take any of their credit. They did a fantastic job.
Of course. Oh, that's fantastic. Appreciate that.
All right, perfect. Next question comes from oh man, I can't read your name because it's in a color that I can't read. Viper Saladin wants to know if you can kind of just give us a real brief explanation of the mother base system. I know it's been detailed in some videos, but it seems like a couple people are still confused. He wants to know exactly how the mother base expands. Do you get to place the struts, or does it automatically, expand this and that? I know you guys had an app for ground zeros that allowed you to kind of place where the struts go, and you could upgrade the struts like that. Are we looking at something like that? Or
I'll feel this one, Young. It's okay. I'll do it. So,
all right.
You have your starting platform is your command platform, and it can potentially be expanded 4 times to 4 command platforms with additional base developments. You can also add different new unit platforms based on R&D or medical or intel, and those come along through elements in the story initially, but then after they're all established, you can develop them at your leisure, picking which ones you want to go bigger and which ones you want to remain smaller. And primarily what this accomplishes is it allows you to have more staff that you have either fultoned or volunteered to be members of the Diamond Dogs crew, then join that different unit and improve its level. With level improvements, you can make further weapons in your R&D. You can have greater intelligence gathering when you're out onto the field. When soldiers are hurt via combat deployments and come back to Mother Base, they can be healed more effectively if your medic team is larger. So these kind of upgrades allow you to be a more efficient and more effective soldier and accomplish your missions and get things done, and do it with a bit of flair, using all the different weapons at your disposal that you can create through this R&D system. So in essence, what you want to do is construct Mother Base to the size that you want it and continue to improve it, but also look carefully at where your staff is placed and how your resources are utilized. So, there's quite a lot of GMP goes into the construction of different platforms, and it takes a long time for each development. So you want to plan your resources carefully. If you find yourself in the red in terms of GMP, that can affect the morale of your soldiers.
Yes.
And then they can break out into fighting on Mother Base. Fighting causes injuries. Injuries causes soldiers that are indisposed and no longer can be helpful on combat deployments because they're healing in the medic platform. So there's results for all the things you do. Likewise, you should visit Mother Base often because that'll improve the motivation of your soldiers. And that will also lead them to be more effective on the field and in their various tasks, and improve the rate at which you just get better at everything.
Okay.
What do you say?
That's a brief summary. There's much more to be said, but that's a good idea.
All right, here comes some quick fire points on that. Is the strut placement automatic or manual?
It could be automatic. You could just let them just go. They'll just get built, and then you.
But can it be manual?
Well, it all depends on what order you're building things. So, for instance, if you build a command platform, and then you build a second command platform, and then you get a different unit through the story that's medic related, then you can let that stay at 1 and keep building that command platform, and then another story related spoke, if you will, of a different unit will appear and be integrated into your mother base, and you can decide whether or not you want to expand that one or leave it at 1. So the rate at which you're constructing Mother Base is up to you. Which platforms you expand upon and which units grow at what rate you want them to grow.
Right. I get that. I think
you can't take a platform and be like, oh, I want to place it here on the water. You can't do that.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Perfect.
No.
That makes sense.
It just develops in a
natural, organic way, so to speak.
Yeah, something that would
the
make
game
sense.
is designed.
And all right. So the next question is that only for Mother Base, or does that apply to FOBs as well?
It applies to FOBs as well.
Okay.
Your FOBs
we saw an FOB that was like a long string of platforms. That was really cool to see, and I didn't know if that was customized by a player.
No, that's the construction of different platforms in development. So, for instance, if you have 4 command platforms, they'll go in a row.
Okay.
Or something along those lines.
Perfect. All right, and then the last question before I switch it over to Yong is, does this development time take place while you're not in the game? Let's say I want to start a platform, but I got to go eat dinner. Can I turn the game off, and then when I come back, will the platform...
No, it suspends. It suspends. You'll have to keep the game running. I mean, you could theoretically leave yourself in the ACC and just let it operate. But if you turn off the system, it's not going to...
Okay.
Now, if you do that, turn off FOB, because if somebody invades you and your game's on, you're gonna get your shit stolen. So
Right, that makes sense. I think there was a feature in damn, what was it? Dragon Age, where they had kind of the same thing where you had to do missions and stuff, but it would go if you were offline as well, which I didn't really like because I didn't. Then I would like miss when it happened and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I think it's a great way to handle it. All right, so
Don't let Big Bad Yong scare you at home, kids. The FOB isn't all that scary. You're fine. Your units can handle it for the most part.
it's just your resources and everything you've worked for. I mean, don't worry about it. Just leave it there.
No big deal.
I'm kidding. No. Yeah, the AI is actually pretty smart. But it definitely helps to have a human component defending as well. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
All right,
a
And
balance.
it's more fun that way, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You want to defend it.
Yeah,
So
you want to have some
your
risk
question-
for it to be fun. So it works.
Right.
Yeah.
it's your question now. Young, go for
Oh,
it.
okay.
Like,
So, multiple users are asking, what happened to Snake's motorcycle? Are we going to be able to drive it? What about that leather jacket? At the end of that GDC 2013 trailer.
I can't say.
God damn it! All my
I love that
questions.
phrase. It feels so good. It feels good to say it.
Yeah.
I rarely say that. So it just feels good to
Okay.
Get it out there.
disavow any knowledge of things you'd want to know.
Okay.
You want to take
Great.
another shot, Young?
Fantastic. Well, let me look, because he's just shooting them all down.
That's what I do, apparently.
Oh, here's a good one. Somebody's asking if you could maybe, I know this has been, said time after time, but for the audience here, could you explain a little bit about microtransactions? Because, it's been emphasized. It's not something that's needed it's not a pay-to-win kind of thing, but there is some
Right.
of it in there. So can you explain to the audience how that is implemented?
And can we buy mother-based coins in real life?
That'd be nice.
Well, you use real life money to buy mother-based coins.
No, I've seen a
Or
coin.
do you want like
There's-
a physical coin?
Yeah, I saw a coin picture floating around. I don't know if it's a hoax, but I saw it.
I'll let you be the guy that mints that.
All right, I'm
In
on
terms
it.
of microtransactions, as Yang had mentioned, it is not needed to acquire anything in the game. You can earn everything just on your own. People specifically brought up FOB. Your FOBs can be expanded to 4 separate FOB whole areas,
Mhm.
but you really only need the first one to operate to the fullest extent. The additional ones are just different opportunities to do the same thing. But that first full FOB is entirely based on in-game currency and does not require any mother-based coins or any microtransactions in order to operate or expand it. The additional 3 past it do require mother-based coins to purchase, but they operate the same way thereafter as the original FOB. Mother-based coins are also used to speed up development of different items in the game. But again, it's not required in order to develop those things. They all develop at different rates, and the
Okay.
majority of items develop at a rate that's healthily fast and is not a major distraction. So I would say that it's there for those who want to use it, but it is absolutely not necessary for those who just want to play without it.
Does it just give you 3 different bases then, additionally to the one? Is that what you're basically buying when you buy a coin? Is you can have
Essentially, yeah, you can buy offshore different FOBs that go out into the open waters.
got a price?
But at a cost of mother-based coins, but
Yeah.
it is not different from your original FOB except in location.
Can
No,
you,
And
sorry, go ahead.
Can
Joe.
you earn mother-based coins in the game, or is that purely based on?
mother-based coins can only be purchased with real-world money.
Okay.
Okay.
So
How much?
That varies, and when the game launches, the currency will display how much everything costs.
Okay.
Gotcha.
What was I gonna say? I forget. So moving on, I guess.
We're gonna say how much too, probably.
No, I was gonna ask something different. Oh,
if
right.
you remember it. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Now I forgot again.
Yes, I love it. I love
You
it.
should keep notes over there, guys. Come on.
Well, I got
You're
it.
professionals.
We are.
You know what? I'm taking him off of YouTube, so.
So
Why did we
you
invite him here? What?
I'd
I
love.
don't know. You
I
guys,
love.
I was asking that myself. Really.
I love a guest.
Say
I
what
love a
you
guest
want.
spice, man.
Not
It's-
sure
it's
what
great.
I'll say, but
You have no iteration on how much the coins will cost, just a general ballpark, nothing like that. Some people think they're going to be really expensive.
The cost of the coins themselves are a certain value that will be revealed at launch, and as you can buy larger amounts for small discounted rates. And then what those are used for, again, varying prices. So
you
just have to check it out by launch.
Makes sense.
Are there any advantages to having 3 extra FOBs as opposed to the 1? I mean, it seems like it's more to manage, more to like time to invest into. It seems like a lot to work.
I mean, that's up for the player to really decide what they feel is worth their time. If they want multiple FOBs to create and manage in different ways, that's their prerogative. But in terms of experiencing the entirety of the FOB feature, you only need the 1 to do that. So because it accomplishes everything you would need to do in FOB in order to gain resources and defend and attack. The additional ones are just for those who want that extra FOB to play with.
Actually, I did think of something. I do remember when I created my first FOB that my mother base's maximum capacity also expanded, actually. So does that apply to the other 3 FOBs as well? I mean, I still had plenty of capacity even after the first FOB, but if you get the additional FOBs, will your original mother base also have an expanded capacity?
We saw somebody with like 1,000 troops at one point during one of the videos.
I'm not sure about that.
Maybe it was hundreds.
There he is pulling out quotes from 3 years ago.
It just happened. It was just Sean Highstone was there, and he said it.
Daily is a new Python Selkin.
There you go.
Look, I'm gonna send all.
He's not even gonna talk anymore. It's just little word quotes on the bottom of his.
Yep.
I can't think of anything in particular that is a major advantage for having multiples. I can look that up and see if there's anything I'm missing there.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. That's just one thing that I personally noticed, but I don't know.
Next question, Ronin.
All right, this one has been flying through quite a bit in the chat here. People are kind of wondering about how visiting a friend's FOB works in the game, if you're allowed to talk about that at all.
So you can visit a friend's FOB in the game.
Yay!
Yay!
Classic Robert answer.
I mean, people have asked whether or not you guys can visit together. That's not the case.
Okay.
You can visit someone else's FOB when they're not around.
Okay.
And you can attack someone else's FOB, and they can join the fight and fight against you. But, yeah, there's not a cooperative aspect where you guys can buddy up and slap hands and hang out.
So there's no like just hangout mode where you can't Fulton and steal people's resources, where that's like a guaranteed thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
In that format where you visit the base, it's pretty much a naked base. There's nothing to see or do. They're just there to see how the other half lives. You know, what are they doing on their side that I'm not doing?
Oh, it's a naked base. So there's like a different mode for just looking around, see what this person's got.
Yeah, it's just looking around.
Okay. That's cool. Kind of like a mother base viewer type deal, like that.
In a sense.
Ronan, do you have anything else on that?
Yeah, there's another question on Twitter. I'm not quite sure if Robert, if you may happen or not to know anything about this, but apparently, and this is news to me as well, but apparently there is some information coming out about missing collector's edition DLC. And if that's the case, how can buyers actually, who try to get the collector's edition, get that DLC afterwards?
So I don't have a lot of information on that. I've been out since that has been cropping up. What I have seen is that it looks like retailers are the ones talking through with customers, but I don't have a definitive answer for you.
That's all right.
Still need to hear that the updates from the team on like what that's all about and how that's developing. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I don't really have anything to say to it.
No, that's fine. It's totally fine. Thank you for that.
All right, so I'm on my last questions here before we get into the wrap up of the interview. So this last set of questions comes from the MGO3 feedback Twitter. They want to know, is there any anti-cheat plans that you guys have for the different consoles and for PC in particular. We've already seen what some PC players are able to do, ripping the game open and switching out characters and being able to play
Right.
Ground Zeroes as cheat code. Do you guys have any kind of anti-cheat systems in place, like Steam Guard or VAC or anything like that? And then do you have that for the consoles?
So for consoles, there's nothing I could speak to. It's a limited platform in terms of what additional measures we could take against players. In terms of PC, since development is still ongoing, I can't really say we have this in mind or this is planned or something like that. But we are going to keep track of how players are receiving the game on consoles as well as PC, and work to make sure that the environment is smooth and fair. But I don't have any particulars that I can talk about at this time.
Okay, so nothing solid, but we'll definitely keep an eye out. Yeah, I can see that being an issue if there are cheats developed for this game where,
Sure.
you can get all your stuff stolen very quickly.
And we talked about this a few months back too. There are different ways that people consider something cheating or refer to something as cheating. This depends on whether or not someone is having a weak connection or losing their connection or doing it on purpose, or this also might result in someone like you said, ripping the game open and trying to modify it. But whether or not that can even be seen by players on online status is another question. So we're looking into everything as it comes along, but I don't have any particulars I can say, oh, this is the measure we're taking and this is the policy regarding it at this time.
Okay. Next question from them. Any Steam Workshop things that we may see? We're going to have open mod support, anything like that? Nope. Next.
No Steam Workshop support.
Next, the last two questions really kind of go into MGO, and I really kind of don't want to go back down that route. The one that I will ask is there going to be communication stuff planned for MGO for cross-team chat?
Nothing in system.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, there you go.
I mean, in terms of you're talking about voice chat or something like that?
I believe he specifically quoted text chat. Will MGO have cross-team text chat?
Oh, I see. I can't really talk about the UI systems of the game or how that operates.
Okay.
Just in terms of, it may not be what you're asking, but it might be of interest to you. In terms of voice chat, that would be operated through either the first-party console or a third-party program running on Steam or PC.
Okay. All right, so that wraps up all of my community questions. So I'm going to turn it over to Yong and Ronin. You guys can bust out the last few, and then we'll wrap up the interview after you guys are done with those.
Yep, so some people are wondering, can you explain how FOB attacks work when you are during a story mission? So say you're halfway through. Bam, FOB intruder alert. What happens? What's the steps, and what happens to that mission?
So if you get an alert about an FOB attack on your FOB, it'll be like this. You might have seen in the video, they show like a little alert shows up on like the top left screen, and it'll say your base is under attack. You can option at that point to immediately go and defend your base, and it'll take you there immediately without having to go through calling your people out or anybody or leaving them field on horse or any other
it's all through your
motion. It'll simply teleport you straight there. Yeah, it'll just take you right there. And then you can defend your base along with your NPC security. Or you can choose to ignore the alert and allow your base to be defended solely by the security system you have set up by itself. If you do happen to leave and you're in the middle of a mission, be it a side op or a main mission, when you return, it will return you to the last checkpoint. So that won't be something that you suffer from in the final report of how well you did, but it won't put you exactly where you were when you left. It'll put you the checkpoint before.
I think you voiced a concern about that, Yong, so there you go.
One mission actually I had to restart over when a guy next to me invaded me. I literally extracted who I needed to extract, and then it took me right back to the beginning. I don't know if that was like maybe a bug of that occasion.
It's possible there wasn't a checkpoint before.
Okay.
That's the entirety. Without knowing which mission it was or looking into it myself, I wouldn't know for sure. But there are some scenarios, especially side ops, that may not have like checkpoint in between.
Okay.
It may just be you function, and if you don't complete it, you don't complete it, kind of thing.
Okay.
I think that's awesome though. Like I think that makes the detention more like more fluid. Like I want to finish my mission and then get back and defend my base. Is that an option, or do you have to defend the base when it pops up?
Finish your mission first.
Yeah,
I think that's cool because
try to
they get like
much.
25 minutes,
there can be a time
right?
limit on it though. If they're able to accomplish it before you return, then
right.
that's it.
That adds to the tension.
Right.
You're trying to get through your mission as quickly as possible to get back to your base. Yeah, it's cool. That's
yeah. If you're like 1 or 2 minutes away, I would finish it. But if it's if you think you're like 10 or 15 minutes away, you might reconsider and say like, well, I can get back here again. It's not a big deal.
Okay, perfect. Ronin,
that's cool. Actually, I think that might be no, we're gonna say.
I was gonna add a little something to that actually.
Yeah, go for it.
While your FOBs do begin during the course of your mission structure, the development of your FOB is a long tail process. So when you have when you're at the point where you have a strong FOB system and high security, and you're really getting into the whole attack defend motion, and it's not simply an occasional thing, that's usually at the point where you've done all the missions and you've usually done all the side ops. And while it's not a guarantee for anyone, I would say that when you're really getting invested in FOB, that's kind of what you're just focusing on for the most part.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry too much about a lot of things getting in the way. You'll be done with a lot of the game when you're really heavily invested in FOB.
All right. I had one more question that popped up before I hand it back over to you, Young. Ronin, you said you were all done.
Actually, you might have the same question that I have because I'm looking at the chat right now and I see.
No, mine's not coming from the chat. You can go ahead.
Okay, cool. Thanks. All right, so the last question that I have from the community is about clan support. Now, I'm guessing that's more specifically directed towards Metal Gear Online.
Yep, and I can't say whether or not there's clan support.
What about FOB?
There are allies in FOB,
right?
So you can ally with friends, and that system exists, and you can support others as well. But in terms of an officiated clan, currently no.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
All right. My last question was, when the game is over, will it enter a state of kind of like open world where you can go back and do missions, or is it like a restarting type of thing? It's like, is it a game world that will continue to be there after the story's concluded or not?
Someone asked about New Game Plus. It may not be exactly the same question, but in terms of when you finish missions and side ops, any mission and side op that you finish at any time, be it an early one or a later one, you can go back and redo them.
Okay.
So that is always there and persistently there. If you complete them all, you can still just keep doing that.
Right. My question more specifically is like, let's say I play the last mission and I beat the game and I'm Gray Fox, right? And then I'm kidding. So well, yeah. Once the game is over, does it?
We all have dreams, I know. But
does it send me back to the main menu and then I have to start over, or can I hop back into the game and do the free roam, collect resources and stuff like that?
Nothing starts over. You would just continue on playing the game as usual, either redoing missions, side ops, or doing free play in order to gather resources. The development of items in the game and like base structures and your FOB, that is something that I would say for a lot of players won't like finish. When you finish all the missions, you'll probably still have a lot left over.
Yep.
Okay.
Unless you just spent a lot more time grinding specifically for that content.
Just sitting out in the desert, chilling.
That's again the prerogative of whatever player wants to do. If that's what they want to finish with everything done before they finish the last mission or something like that, they can certainly do that. But I would say if you just did it at an even pace, collecting what you can when it shows up, and not really honing on a particular development process for a long period of time. Even then, I would say it's rare to find someone who gets everything done before the missions end.
Okay, perfect. All right, Yolan,
It'd usually be after.
It is all you, buddy, and then we'll do a wrap up when you're done.
David Nelson YouTube asks, what happens when an invader successfully invades your FOB? Well, what are the rewards of that?
For the invader?
Yeah, for
the rewards for a lot of soldiers, a lot of resources, GMP, heroism, a variety of things. It's like completing a mission that is a very tough mission and very rewarding in terms of its output.
Now, does that?
So yeah, it's a high risk, high reward scenario.
Is that taken from the defending player, or is that just something that is given to you by the game?
That's taken from the defending player to some extent. You will lose resources. You will lose staff. So you have to be a bit wary, but it's all dependent on how much you want to risk.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that acapella. How much you gonna risk?
Sure.
Exactly. That's every time I hear that, I'm like, yeah, of course. What are you gonna put together in terms of your security? And you can buy like a certain amount of security to just be persistently available on your FOB at any one time, so that drains some of your resources over time. And again, it just depends on how much you want to put into it,
right.
In order to maintain defense. Or do you want to be that lone soldier who jumps in every FOB alert that pops your way? You could do that too, and just be the guy that wins it all, and never have to rely on any other soldier to defend your base. But again, it's just whatever tactic you want to take.
Okay, cool. Cyberham from YouTube. Can you swim in the game? I saw some rivers in the game. Ooh, we got him. We got him.
Swim, but snakes can walk. Snake can walk in water as long as his feet touches the ground.
Okay.
But he can't swim in it. Like he can't float above it.
Okay.
And there are places where there's bodies of water, and if it's too deep and he falls into it, he dies.
Okay, gotcha.
No.
So
It's
I guess the
because-
shrapnel made him forget how to swim as well.
No, see what it is, and since
Maybe
I know
the currents of Afghanistan and Africa are that much stronger.
it's
than
the
that of
bionic
Russia.
arm submerged under water electrocutes.
Oh, there you go. It's a weight thing.
Boom.
There you go.
We throwing our
You
own
just
theories
saved
on this? What's
Konami.
going on here?
He's no.
Whatever the case is, yeah, he can't swim. He can't swim in the game.
playing.
It's not a mechanic that is in the game.
Cool. No, yeah, and I'm honestly kind of grateful for it. I honestly think the swimming sections weren't my favorite in the previous Metal Gear games, particularly
kinda just
2.
put there.
That one was kind of rough.
Yep.
This is my. I know this may work against me, but this is my call to arms in terms of our community. I want to see a GIF about Yang Yi hating swimming and being afraid of swimming and not liking swimming. And just make that happen, guys. Come on. I trust you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm afraid of water.
Colonel, we've
Or
managed
let
to
it
avoid
backfire
drowning.
and just turn around on me somehow. We'll see.
Yes.
My favorite quote ever.
we haven't managed to avoid drowning.
Yeah, that's true. I think. Something that somebody's asking. Somebody when they saw one of the gameplay demos, they were talking about quiet humming, and some people said she was humming way too much in that demo. Is that something that has been taken note of and dialed down, or does she hum the shit out of the game?
Does she hum the shit out of the game, Robert? Can you answer that question?
I will simply say noted, but I can't add any more to that.
I think
Okay.
Stephanie used
I've heard
to
the
be
same.
upset.
I've heard the same thing about Kaz.
Yeah.
People saying he just talks too much, and I'm like,
Poor Robin.
again, noted, but yeah, beyond that, I don't think anything can be done.
I personally didn't really notice it too much, the humming. I don't know, maybe if you're watching a video, it's different from when you're playing. Because
Right.
when you're playing,
Yeah,
you're like
maybe.
completely focused on other things, and you really just don't hear these insignificant things. So personally, for me,
In terms of Kaz talking, sorry, I didn't mean to
Yeah,
cut
go
you
ahead.
off. Go ahead. In terms of Kaz talking, I mean, while he does communicate with you involuntarily a lot of the time, most of those additional communications come when you look at something on your in-scope and specifically ask for intel and then
Yeah.
just speak about it.
yeah,
I
But
think,
yeah, quiet.
yeah.
If she's your buddy, she'll hum.
I think it's your
you
choice. Like, if you take quiet, you live with the consequences of taking quiet.
Well, you can also tell her to be quiet. Wow.
Damn.
Gotta
But,
shut this.
and
We gotta
in
shut this
doing
interview
so-
down.
And in doing so, she'll be silent for a little bit, but it's not a permanent thing.
Well, I think it's great anyways, because we had Stephanie on the show, and she seems like such a nice lady. I would just listen to her hum.
Oh,
It's
and
fine.
apparently she
I've never
sings
met her, but
one
I'm
of the
sure she's
themes.
Yeah, yeah, she does.
Quiet.
Wow, you
Lied
guys
to
are
us.
Now
really,
he just sounds angry.
you
From the
guys are really
beginning.
funny.
You lied to us.
Like a damn fiddle.
Are you on the wrap up? You got another question?
Yeah, no,
there, y'all?
that pretty much covers it for me.
All right, perfect.
Oh,
So
man.
that just about wraps it up. Now, there's a couple of little things that we want to ask you, Robert, just in your own personal opinion. What is the first thing that you were going to do when you load up the Phantom Pain on release day? Obviously, you played the game for like, I heard like 200 hours or something, but let's pretend you're a new player. And
Ballpark.
what's the first thing that you're going to do when you hop into to Phantom Pain?
So I haven't done a completely full stealth run where I was never seen, and the game doesn't ask me to. So I'm going to make it ask me and get mad at myself if I get seen. And the last 3 times I played it, I did it with no reflex on, because while I really think the feature is awesome, especially for people who are new to the series and are just getting used to the whole mechanic, I found it ultimately for myself, it became a crutch where I was relying on it too much. And I noticed that on my second playthrough for sure. And I was like, you know what? There's the only way I'm going to get past this is if I just turn it off and live the game without it as if it never existed. And in doing so, I quickly, acclimated to it. I found myself being much better and more careful and more efficient too in terms of like catching soldiers and knowing where they were coming from and stuff like that. Or sometimes on those rare occasions, just pulling off a headshot much quicker than usual. But
nice.
So
when you have
saw me headshot.
Yeah, when you turn those kind of things off, like reflex or marking modes, are you still given like a couple seconds before they call in, or is it just an immediate everybody's on alert as soon as you're spotted?
You have like 2 seconds or something.
It's like no, it's like half a second for the one guy to see you, if he sees you, to like suddenly start either shooting or shouting.
Right.
If there's people nearby, they'll hear him.
Okay.
In terms of getting down on his knee and like typing to the radio, that usually doesn't happen if he's like eyes on you. It only happens if he thought he saw something and then he calls it in.
Okay.
But
yeah, because we learned that you can't do shooting
firing
radios or anything anymore. So I think that's one of the scary parts of not having reflex mode is, people assume that as soon as you're spotted, everybody's alerted. But Yong told me, recently that it's really just the general area that's alerted.
That one post will be alerted, and then they can call it in via radio and then have other bases alerted, and they'll bring in backup. That can happen.
You can get backup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can also prevent backup from happening by cutting their communications or infiltrating the bases surrounding the base you want to go with and cutting down their manpower, which will then result in CQ going back and saying, we don't have enough staff to send you, you're on your own, kind of thing.
Right.
So there's a variety of things you can do to counter it. This sounds so patronizing, and I apologize to anybody who might take it this way. But when I see someone worried about a function that was in a previous Metal Gear game that may be taken away or changed in some way that they're not used to, and they worry about a particular tactic or strategy they used to utilize quite often in their previous playthroughs, and they found it to be very helpful for them, and they wonder, like, well, how am I going to counter this one thing that I used to counter with that very specific maneuver? The game, because it was designed very differently from the ground up, everything balances towards each other. So while, you may not be able to use that tactic the same way you did before, you're learning a new game. I mean, even though it's part of the same franchise, and certainly the heart and soul of Metal Gear is there, imagine just playing a new game from fresh and having to learn how that game works, and then taking that into account, and then becoming more aware of the new strategies you can take, which there are new ones that you could take that you couldn't do in previous Metal Gear games. And so ultimately, try not to think of this as what have they taken away or added to change my experience, but rather, how does the new experience feel in comparison to old experiences? So that's the advice I would give to anyone who's like, oh no, I can't shoot out radios, or how am I going to prevent backup, or all those different questions that come up occasionally.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll make sense. And then in regards to marking, is there any type of levels of turning off marking? Because some people would like the marking, but they don't like the blue outlines. Is there any kind of way you can take away like the blue outlines but still be able to mark people, or is it all one feature?
I would say that's something I hope everyone who is worried about it learns to live with, because it is probably the best part of the game for me.
I agree.
It's the ability to mark. Marking it changes the dynamic so much so, and completely not in the way they're thinking. It doesn't dumb down the game. It doesn't
Right.
make
I don't think
the
so
scenario
either.
just a simple, catch and grab.
It feels like the
scenario.
intel is your effort, and it's just satisfying to know that
Right.
you tag these targets, and now as a result, you get these tactical rewards, and you can, as a result, do and think of new things and improvise in ways that you wouldn't be able to without the marking system.
Yeah, I think the marking system is great. I think the detail is so great and it's so nice looking that when you have that weird blue wave over people, like when you're close up, it kind of takes away some of the detail of like a soldier's face or what they're wearing when they just look like a big blue puddle of water. Sometimes it's not all the time.
It fades in and out. I mean, it's not like it's always there.
I may be. Yeah,
so it's
almost
wrong,
like but I think you'll get used to it pretty quickly. Okay. It's not.
Yeah, it didn't bother me that much
Your
in Ground Zeroes.
Worry will go away very quick.
Awesome.
You're like, I'm all right.
Well, the last thing we have to ask you, Robert, is why should somebody buy the Phantom Pain? Here's your chance.
Go to Metacritic.
There's my chance. There's my chance to sell it. Yeah, there you go. You should buy Metal Gear Solid: The Phantom Pain.
What are fans getting?
Even if you aren't a Metal Gear Solid fan, even if you aren't a stealth genre fan, this game, without hyperbole, represents one of the best developed games in the industry this year and any year. And I would encourage anyone who's a fan of strong design and careful development and just a passion for making something fun and good to just give it a shot. And even if it's not your thing, maybe you'll just respect it for what it is and see this was still a fantastic title, and it may not be for me, but I'm glad I was a part of it to see it happen and can think on that in the past and look to other games in the future and see what they can accomplish that matches this in quality and innovates in ways that we have yet to see. So yeah, it's a great game. There's no doubt about it in my mind.
This game is fucking awesome. Get it. That's basically what
translation.
We're looking forward to it, man. We appreciate all of your hard work from the Codec community, from the Nation Fusion community. I definitely extend a big thank you to you and the entire team over at Konami, if you can relay that for us. I mean relay. I'm not one of those kind of guys that says, tell somebody I said hi and that I don't actually want you to say hi. Please tell the team that we thank them for all of their hard work and all of the stuff that they've done. We definitely look forward to the game's release and the game's launch. We definitely want to have you back on the show, maybe a month or two after the game's out, and talk about the progress of.
Yeah.
Damn it, y'all! They're not going to let him come back.
One blow for another. It's the cycle of vengeance. It's the theme of the game.
Like, where can I go to find one?
Where's Robin Atkin Downs? I want to see more.
We're trying to get him so bad. But
work on that Cause game, with him racing that, just Cause.
That'd be good.
I think that is amazing.
That looks
He's one of my favorite characters, so I would love it.
Hopefully we'll be able to get him on the show at some point. But we would love to have you back, maybe closer towards the release of MGO, just kind of get updates on maybe some of the new things coming out for the Phantom Pain and talk about where MGO is. Because we had a lot of MGO questions, and I want to apologize to the fans that are here that we can't ask all of your questions. We've already been here for 2 hours, and there's a lot of MGO questions. There's still a lot of Phantom Pain questions.
Yeah, there's still a lot of those questions coming in too.
We see them. We're not ignoring you. We asked all that we could for this particular interview. If your question didn't get answered, I'm sincerely sorry. Please don't hate me. We will interview Robert as often as we can.
It's okay. It's all right. They can hate me for not answering most of those questions. So it's all really
he's the community manager.
Mea culpa, ultimately. But no, I would love to be back and maybe flesh out some of those greater details on MGO and just what we're going to be doing in the community and by and large. I also do hope, I will say though, I do hope that by the time you do get me on your show again, a lot of those questions have been answered in other ways. So
I'm sure they will.
So look forward to that.
If we can get you and Sean Ice
has those burning thoughts.
It'd be great.
I'll see if he's available. I don't know. We'll find out.
I think that would be very, very cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
The last thing before we let you go is we do have a scheduled giveaway. Robert, you said you don't have keys to give away today, but we're gonna pick some winners. So if you're here in the chat, Robert and the guys over at Konami have and Metal Gear Solid have agreed to give out some keys to our amazing fans here. So we're not going to be giving them out physically today, but we will pick some winners, and Robert will let you know.
What kind of keys?
Keys to the Phantom Pain
There we
of
go.
Metal Gear Solid 5.
Keys to the kingdom, Yongi. Keys to the
Yeah,
kingdom.
keys to the kingdom. There we
There
go.
you go.
Keys to Mother
the
Base.
Keys to the Ferrari. Right?
Yeah.
It's
Keys,
actually
keys on Van Nuys.
we're going to be giving away, I believe, one game per platform. So please stick around. We're going to let Robert get out of here. We'll take care of the giveaway, and then Robert will let you know who won and that kind of stuff, and we'll handle all the details. Again, thank you so
I'll
much.
do something.
Enjoy your packs, man. Have a great time. Young, did you want to say?
You guys want to see it a little bit?
Yeah.
Yay! All these people.
Yay. Hello, people.
Yay.
Who can't
It looks
hear
like
me.
an airport.
Hi, Pax.
You're famous, people.
Pretty much is.
Anything else for Robert, Young?
Just thanks again for joining me, and thank you for opening so many doors for me. I mean, inviting me to E3, inviting me to the review event. You've done definitely a lot for the community and for myself and for the people out there. So just amazing job, man. Keep doing what you do, and I think fans
thank
will
you.
be, yeah, fans will be very happy with the game.
He said the food.
I hope I can do a lot more.
Sounds good.
What? What did you say?
He said the food was delicious.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the food at the review event. Whatever I got to eat, because I mostly just stayed in and played the game. But what I did get to eat was
He
delicious.
wouldn't get out. He wouldn't get off his chair. I was worried for him. He's gonna get, like eye strain, and I ended up bringing him a couple plates because I'm like, dude, eat, please. This is gonna end badly. I just know it.
You should have had him like Big Boss in the Chopper, hooked up to an IV while he was playing the game.
Yeah.
He's gotta have some phantom pains in his stomach somewhere. So.
Oh no,
Oh,
yeah, I
man.
felt it for
Oh.
sure. But I'm doomed.
Ah, that's so bad. So bad.
That was terrible.
Subliminal marketing, gentlemen, at its finest.
I'm gonna jump back on your show and tell more bad puns. You'll see. So.
All right, man.
That's what
Sounds
we're
good.
all about here is bad puns.
Exactly.
Our show is called Bad Puns. Ronan, anything else to say to Robert before we let him go?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate, for you to stop in and answer a lot of our questions. And, granted, a lot of those questions, of course, we all know this. Many of these questions you wouldn't be able to answer to begin with. So don't feel too bad about that. None of our co-hosts feel too bad about that. Chat, don't feel bad about that at all. That's just the way things go. So don't,
Aren't you glad
well,
you asked them then, man?
Yeah.
That's just the way things go.
Well,
Hopefully we'll be able to
I
get
know
those
you can't
questions.
answer this, but I want to put you on
If we
spot.
ask, people get very upset. So
Yeah.
just want to let
I
you
know.
know.
I
They do.
understand.
They
Don't worry,
do.
I get it.
It's all about them too. This is what this is about: getting people hyped up
course.
for the game, making sure that we have as many people to play with as possible. I can't tell you how many times I logged on to these big AAA games and get really disappointed when there's like 100 people on. So we definitely want to have as many friends to play with online as possible, and as many people to
I
experience
100% agree.
Yeah, this has been what you've got the better estimate. How long the Phantom Pain been in development now? About 6 years, 5 years?
I mean, if we talk about the first teaser that Kojima
first
provided,
teaser.
like 7 years. When
So,
he talked
this
about
is a
the
lo-
Devil Project, that's what he called it back then instead of Project
Right.
Ogre.
This is a lot of
7 years-ish.
people's
It's-
blood, sweat, tears. You've
Yeah.
been on now
They
for
worked
a
it
few
through
years,
Peace
Robert.
Walker and the Fox engine. It's. I mean, I'm doing the retrospective right now.
This game takes place in 1984. It's 31 years in development.
Yeah, exactly. I told somebody that today on YouTube. So we definitely like I
go in
said,
there.
We wanted to express our deepest gratitude, and we really
Yeah.
look forward to playing the game, and really look forward to interacting with everybody in the community and you as well, Robert. And thank you for coming on our show.
Yeah,
and
Absolutely. Thank you for
know
joining
this-
us.
course.
Really appreciate it.
This is it should be one of the last interviews that takes place before the game comes out, so everybody should be able to take this and get through the next day or two with ease. So again, Robert, thank you. Have a great PAX, and be safe on your trip home, buddy.
Get some
Thanks
sleep.
a lot. Take it easy, guys. I will
Take care.
try.
Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was our interview with Robert Peeler from Konami, the Metal Gear Solid 5 community manager. Stay tuned. We're going to have a quick post-show, just a couple seconds. Well, not seconds, but a couple minutes long.
And
But I
it's
got to
done.
rearrange. Yeah.
You gotta get out.
I gotta rearrange.
Bye, guys.
We've been talking for 2 hours, and we did Heather Haley's interview for 2 hours yesterday. So
Yep.
It's been a long week.
Yeah.
We're gonna run a quick commercial break, and then I'm gonna set the cameras back up, and then we're gonna come back and give our final thoughts and stuff, and then we're gonna make a dinosaur. Bye. We'll be back. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Codec Post Show, where we were going to build a dinosaur, but we didn't have enough time. So we're just going to talk about the interview then. So, Yang, your first kind of impressions on having the interview. Did you have a good time? Did you get all the questions answered? I know there was a bunch of stuff that we
I
couldn't
had
talk
a horrible
about.
time.
Damn you, Rob.
None of my questions were answered. You keep shooting me down. In all
Worst
seriousness,
interview
though,
ever.
no, he's
I
great.
love how that was really Raiden.
Yeah. Oh, that was a Raiden thing to say, huh? But yeah, no, he's a great guy. I mean, he's sassy. You know, that's just his usual self. But no, he's great at what he does. He's the reason why I could go to E3, why I could do that 1 hour impressions, why I could go to the review event. So he's opened a lot of doors for me, as I said in the interview, and yeah, he's just a really fun guy to talk to, and he answered as bluntly as he could with all the questions, and that I really appreciated. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like that. Just like I don't know, I can't talk about that. That's the kind of interview I like.
Yeah.
I don't like to beat around the bush. How about you, Ronan? Did you get all your community questions answered? Probably not. Did you get
Probably
most of
not,
them?
but you know what? That's par for the course when it comes to things like this. When a game hasn't been released and you ask all these questions, like I knew a good majority of these questions weren't going to get answered. But of course, you ask them anyways because people demand some sort of proof from word of mouth about your question not getting answered. Like half the questions I asked were questions that I answered the exact same way on previous streams that I've done. But to make people happy, I decided, what the hell, I'll just ask anyways and get the same answer. But anyways, besides the point, I did enjoy that. I think he's meeting him for the first time. I thought first impressions, he's definitely a really awesome guy, really laid back, sassy as hell. But I appreciate that because
that's like part of your tagline.
Exactly.
Sassy, right?
Exactly. So I understand what that's like, but I definitely appreciate him taking the time to sit down and talk to us about as much as he possibly could for the game until it comes out. So I enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun.
I love it. I gotta say, just first off, I need to apologize to the viewer. I spoke to 1 or 2 viewers, subscribers or donators, who were going to come on to the show and ask a question physically, but we had some technical issues and we couldn't bring anybody else in. I asked all of the questions that I could, and I respectfully asked that anybody who didn't get their question answered to just hold tight. We definitely will have Robert back, and Yong and I both have direct lines to Robert. So if there's a burning question that needs to be answered that we didn't notice, we can always ask and find out for you. We've got a couple days before the game launches. So if there's any burning questions that's keeping you from buying the game, we will definitely try and answer those, because this last show, well, not last show, but the last show before the Phantom Pain releases is really about you guys, and I wanted to make sure that we asked as many of your questions this time and kind of took a backseat to our questions as we could, and we really did our best. We had Robert on for 2 hours, but like I told him, when they give these great answers that are just multiple minutes long, there's only so many that you can fit in. So for that, I do apologize, but I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. Let's do a quick post-show. There was a couple burning topics that I wanted to talk about yesterday, but we couldn't because we interviewed Heather Haley for 2 hours, as well. Great lady. I love her. She was adorable. She was really awesome. And she continues to check up on me for my car accident injuries, like a real paramedic. I love it. I love it. It's hilarious. It literally
she genuinely cares. That's a good thing.
She cried on our show.
I know. I was like, oh man.
I saw y'all. It's like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, can I help you?
Yeah, right. Poor paramedics. But the things I want to talk about, obviously we spoke a little bit about it on the show, and we pulled a little punches just out of respect and courtesy. But one of the issues that's going on that I wanted to talk about with you guys is this Kind of Funny Games exclusive Let's Play thing that's going on. Granted, like I said, I like Greg's content. I think it's funny. I liked him over at IGN. There was some things that I didn't like about the Let's Play. I felt like there was a lot of self-promotion in there and stuff like that. I really thought that kind of, if you have exclusive rights to publish Let's Plays, that should really be more focused on the game. Talk about the game features. And a lot of the Let's Plays are just them, bantering back and forth, which would have been great after the game was released, in my opinion. But I felt like it was a lot less about Phantom Pain and more about Greg playing the game. And like I said, if Greg ever does see this, which he very well may, I do love your content, man. I do love the Let's Plays themselves. I just feel like they might have been better released after the the embargo, because a lot of people are upset that one particular YouTube channel gets a kind of monopoly on this exclusive Let's Play. It's drawing all the fans over there, and I don't think. Like myself, I probably wouldn't have done it just because I don't have the fan base to kind of support something like that right now and stuff like that. But I think it's a great thing for their channel. I just think the way that it was done, the context of it should have been a little different. It should have been more of Robert and him talking about the different features in the game and showing off some of the cool things that you can do, because that's what we want people to do, like I said, is buy the game. So with that said, that's my opinion on it. You got any personal opinions on it as a fellow YouTuber?
I mean, I would have loved to get that exclusive right, and but
I think
it is what it is. Greg Miller is a personality that many people know. He's a very popular guy, so and to some in some degrees, I understand why they went with Greg Miller, because part of it has to do with bringing in new people. I'm the Metal Gear guy, but the people I talk to and I connect with, they're all Metal Gear fans. Whereas Greg Miller, maybe he does more varieties of content, and maybe that's why they picked him, because maybe more of a percentage of his audience.
Why not PewDiePie?
yeah, that's true. But
I'm kidding. Definitely kidding.
Who just scream at everything?
Yeah. Bros, it's Metal Gear, bros. That's
PewDiePie. But that was my best. Anyway,
that might be the intro to the show.
Oh man,
it's young. My new intro. Anyway, no, he's Greg Miller. He's a personality, and I get why they gave him the content. I do think that it could have been better presented, like you said, where it's more about the game and less about the I guess the personalities there.
A lot of snarky remarks.
They
were funny. They were funny. Like, I get it, because it's kind of funny games. Like, good job. It made me laugh. I just thought, as a Metal Gear fan, like, I want to know, like, what are you doing? Like, what is this mission? I want to know a little bit more about it. But yeah, I think maybe you, him, and maybe a couple other people from the review event should have maybe got your own, like, exclusive copies, and then you guys could do, like, variations of, the missions. Like, Greg's more of one of those kind of guys that wants to do it kind of stealthy. You like to do like a half lethal, non-lethal, and I think that would have been cool to see maybe different YouTubers doing like their own. You guys could have said, all right, Greg, you do all stealthy type stuff, I'll do all this type stuff, and whoever else was there.
Yeah, that would have been actually that's a really cool idea. I think that would have been really
Konami
cool.
Hire me. I'm a great marketer. That's what I do.
The new community manager. Right, you
guys can promote Robert into the role that he wanted to be in, and then let he be the community manager.
But I mean, we never know what is going on behind their heads. Maybe they, there's a specific reason why they did that. I don't know what it is, but I agree that it would have been cool to maybe spread that out to various other community members, not just Greg, but because God, I don't want to sound like insulting when I feel like I could have done a better job playing the game itself, because Greg is kind of I know it was his first time too, because they recorded that before the review event, but I
hope they did, because they're all wearing the same shirt every time it comes up, so I really hope
they did. So I feel like I could have maybe played it a little better, but you never know, maybe it's the Let's Play curse, who knows. But still, a lot of kudos to Greg. I really liked his review, and it is what it is.
Like I said, I don't want anybody to confuse it with like animosity or being upset or salty or whatever the term may be. We're just talking about it, just giving thoughts and opinions. Like I said, I personally liked the Let's Plays. I thought they were funny. I just thought as a reviewer and a Let's Player myself, I just thought they were kind of out of context for what it should be for the thing. But regardless, Ronin, how about you, man? What do you think about it?
I don't know, because like I said earlier during the interview, I didn't really have a chance to actually watch this Let's Play.
Okay.
Also, that's coming through. What
do you think about the event then? Not necessarily a Let's Play, but what about him? Having exclusive Let's Play rights. What do you think about that?
I mean, it kind of goes back into what Yang said. Like they're trying to reach out to a vast audience to get more people to get into the game and get interested into the game and buying it, which I think is a fantastic idea. I mean, like with us, we're all Metal Gear veterans, and we know basically the ins and outs of the franchise for the most part. So when it comes down to it, we know we're going to buy this game regardless of what's going on or what we know about the game or what we don't know about the game. So I think this is their one big attempt to reel in those newcomers, and I'm totally okay with that. I do agree that they probably should have structured that Let's Play better, I suppose, depending on how it played out, where they have a person go through doing all, maybe guns blazing, another person doing stealth and infiltration and stuff like that. That would be a fantastic idea. Totally agree with that. But I think it may have come down to them really trying to get the impressions from someone who has a vast audience under their belt, and to
see
what
call out a vast audience. I don't mean to cut you off, but
I mean, it depends on how
has,
you look at it.
I think
It depends on how
Young
you look
has
at
more
it.
subscribers.
Well,
Greg
Miller has 200,000 followers on Twitter, so you know, if he tweets,
Plus,
here's a Metal Gear Solid 5 video, that I think will probably reach more people than.
Well, I don't just mean you specifically, but I mean, there's other bigger channels out there. I mean, just to pull somebody up. To pull somebody up that was in the news today, not that he would probably ever get to do it, but like Angry Joe, he's got like a mill.
Well,
you know
he kind of bashed Ground Zeroes.
Right, I'm just saying, like, I don't mean him in particular. I'm just saying that there's other people out there that
they probably went with the more
Danger
more
Dolan
trusted
has,
source.
Danger Dolan. He's got like 2 million, and he does.
They probably went with the more trusted source, because considering the fact that Greg Miller has had arms in the industry outside of Kind of Funny Games on top of that, so that could have been part of their decision making on top of that.
Yeah,
but
I was just gonna say that he's also a huge fan of Peace Walker, and I think maybe the enthusiasm that he shows for that maybe had in part to do with why they went with him in terms of exclusive content.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They should have picked Jim Sterling. That would have been. Do you guys watch Jim Sterling?
Occasionally.
Every now and then I do catch him.
He's hilarious.
He's very.
All I know is I loved his Sonic Boom review. That was fantastic.
I think it's the way he talks. I think British people have that funny like. I'm just gonna have a sit, he says sometimes, or those kind of dialogues would be really funny in the Phantom Pain. I hope he does some Let's Plays of it. But regardless, let's switch topics then real quick. We didn't get to talk to Robert about this, but with the delay in Metal Gear Online, this came from one of the community members, Sean Garcia, I believe. Who's a great big supporter of the show. So big thank you to you, Sean. Sorry we couldn't get you on today. But he's concerned that maybe with the MGO coming out in October and even later for PC, do you guys feel like we may lose a potential audience that maybe would have bought the game if it had come bundled with MGO at launch?
I don't think so. I don't think people. I mean, the initial audience is the Metal Gear fans, and then from there, word spreads around about how great this game is, which is happening as we speak with all these amazing reviews. So that by itself is going to sell plenty of copies, and then with MGO3, I feel like it's going to be the sort of the cherry on top. So I don't think anyone was like, oh my god, MGO3, you screw the single player crap. All I'm waiting for is maybe a couple of people, but I mean. I feel like they'll just buy the game anyways and hold out on the online by playing the single player. If they're really that excited for the online, they'll just play the single player just to at least get a handle for the game.
Or the FOB, right?
Yeah, or the FOB, which is a component within itself. And I've tried it, and it's actually really cool. So I think it'll definitely hold out people enough until MGO3 comes out, and I don't think it'll in any way affect the sales of the game. Not by a significant margin, at least.
Right.
Now, are you guys going to review the game? Because I know, Ronan, I know you said you haven't started doing reviews on your site yet. And Yang, I know you do some reviews. They're kind of, I guess, a little less traditional since you do mainly just video. But are you guys planning on doing like an actual like review breakdown of the game?
Yeah, no, I've done reviews of. I did a review for Ground Zeroes, and I've done it for like Metal Gear 1, 2, Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear, for a lot of the Metal Gear games. And I'm definitely going to be going for Metal Gear Solid 5, like a formal, proper like review with a
score-based and all that?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So that's happening.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Can't wait to see that. And Ronan, is this going to be your first one? Is this going to be your
it just might, but I feel like I'm going to have to really sit down and dissect this game to give an honest review about how I feel about it, which I'm sure is going to still turn out to be the maximum points that I'll be able to give a game to begin with. But besides that point, for it being my first review, like I had reviews planned for several games before, but time kind of hit that and just made it not happen. But that's besides the point. I feel like I'll have a chance to fully sit down and break the game apart and discover all its intricacies to get a good review out there. And it's kind of hard to say for me, at least, because for the most part, I tend to play my games during live streams. And in a live stream audience or a live audience, sometimes you have to realize, okay, your audience is watching you, and if you're the kind of person that's sitting there gathering plants the whole time throughout the game, might not make for the most entertaining stream out there. Even though I would probably do that off the stream to find out what the kind of stuff you can unlock by doing that. But yeah, I'll probably have to go through it a second time off stream to get my thorough opinion about the game and get a review out for that.
This game is tough to review. I'm telling you. I mean, there's so many things to talk about. It's like, where do I start? Like I wrote the impressions review thing that I did, the audio only impressions thing that I did. That was a bitch to write, man. I was like, and I kept missing features, and I had to kept like modifying the script because I was like, oh man, I forgot to talk about this thing, and that would just keep going for like hours. And so there's just so much to talk about with this game. It's one of the hardest games to review, but at the same time, you kind of know what you're gonna give this game because it's just so freaking good. It's just hard to put it into words. So.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they have going on. I feel like this game definitely will need some kind of post game content. I know they talked about maybe not having DLC or anything like that. I don't think they need any major story DLC, but I know from a game just to bring up one like Black Ops, for instance, the new Black Ops that's coming out. I've played that game for probably about 3 hours. I'm doing a beta review. For our website, and I've already like maxed the content out. Like I know it's a beta, and they said it's not all there, but there's not much more coming. Like because I've got some connections in the Call of Duty world, and I don't want to see that same thing happen to Metal Gear because this is the first Metal Gear that we're gonna have. On next gen. Metal Gear Solid 4 was really, it did have, online, but it was really about the story. It was really about all the cutscenes and stuff like that. So I really hope that, they maybe have some like map packs and stuff. I hope they do it right as well. There's a good way to do DLC and there's a bad way to do DLC. And I hope this game does get a little bit of support after launch. Not to say that when it comes out, it's going to be, contentless or anything like that. I'm sure it's going to have great content. Young's already attested to how many hours you can put in. I just feel like if they want this game to survive longer than a couple months, they're going to need something planned, whether it's little just weapons or skins or something like that, just to kind of refresh players for when January comes around and online comes out for us PC players. There'll be a gap in between. At least for us, you guys won't have as long a gap, but there'll be a gap where we may be able to complete all the story content, and the FOB may get a little redundant between now and in January. So hopefully they'll have something to kind of refresh that kind of thing. And I'm really curious to see how they'll support it post game launch.
From what Robert said, though, it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. It seems Kojima completed his game and he's going to release a complete product. But who knows? Down the line, maybe they'll be like, "Wow, this game is really taken off. Maybe we should really start supporting it."
That's perfectly said, Young, because that's how good DLC is done. To go back in time, Battlefield 2, for instance, sold very well, and then DLC was developed for that game. People loved it and said, "Hey, we need some more."
Yeah.
And then they created some expansion packs for that game. Granted, that sent them down the slippery slope of pre-playing DLC for the rest of their entire life. Yeah. God bless you, Battlefield. Rest in peace. But in Battlefield 2, when the player reaction drove DLC, I think that creates the best kind of content. So hopefully, if they don't have anything planned, which he didn't say they have nothing, he just said there's not much. So maybe there's some things. Obviously, probably not story related, but maybe there's like weapon skins or
Buddy would be awesome.
There's
four and those are enough. Trust me, those are plenty enough for completing the game. You will not see everything they have to offer in the main campaign because four of them. They have so many ways you can like upgrade them and expand and new commands that they'll gain as you gain their friendship or whatever. So it's enough, but it'd be cool to add extra ones to be like, oh wow, what new things can I do now that this support buddy is in play? Like Ocelot, hell,
right?
I'm gonna push for that.
At least we're gonna get to play him in the in MGO as a character. So I think that'll be cool. But
I mean, they could probably do that too. Like, granted, there's nothing that says that they can't add some form of DLC to it. Perhaps it doesn't have to be story-based DLC. You can get things like weapon skins. What would you like to see? For me, I would rather see skins and perhaps like new items you can use in the game. For example, like a different gun or a different arm for Snake to use. That's fine. I'm totally okay with that. But yeah, anything outside of the story content, I just don't see any of that happening, considering a lot of the creative flow behind that is missing.
Did you notice this grin just popped at once? You said when you started talking about some things to add immediately popped in my mind. This goes back again. I hate making this reference because people always associate me with Call of Duty. But Call of Duty, listen, a DLC pack, which was absolutely terrible, but would work perfectly in Metal Gears. They did a voice pack where they added in new announcers. If we could get David Hayter to do a voice pack DLC, and maybe like some of the older characters to do some voice pack DLC, that would be really cool to have them be.
David already said he wouldn't do something like that, where he'd voice another performance.
Right. He said, I don't mean like a voice over for the game. I mean like Metal Gear Online. Maybe we can get Snake as like the announcer, or the something like that. Just something goofy or quirky. Because like I said, I love to support this game, and if they had some cool ideas for DLC, I would definitely support that.
Snoop Dogg announcing for.
Yeah, exactly. Just like Young, like then maybe have Raiden do one and stuff like maybe skins. Maybe you could get like a solid Snake skin for the game, like they had the classic Snake in Ground Zeroes. Just something like that would be cool. Maybe like I said, down the line if the community response is good enough. But I'd like to wrap it up here, guys. Young, do you think it's a good enough point in the timeline where we can talk about some upcoming guests that we have?
I think so. Yeah.
Do you want to say who it is, or do you just want to give like a teaser from the game?
You know what?
I'm going to let you make the call because you made that connection. So I'm going to let you make the call. You want to say who
September.
it is?
We're nearing the date. We have everything set. So we're bringing in Brian and Courtney. I don't know. Her name is spelled differently.
I think it's Courtney.
Yeah, Brian and Courtney from Fallout. The male and female protagonists from Fallout 4 are coming in together. Yeah, not separately. They're coming in together.
You won't need to buy the DLC pack for the interview.
Exactly, on September 12th.
You had to go there.
So look forward to that. That's going to be really cool because, I think we've seen a lot of individual interviews, but I think it's cool to have them together and see how they, maybe played off of each other or how one performance differed from another. I think it'll be really cool to really get their perspectives in that way. So look forward to it. It's going to be fun.
Definitely going to be very, very fun. Just speaking in dual interviews real quick, we do have Chris Salter, or Chris Zimmerman as some people will know her, the voice director of Metal Gear Solid, coming on as well with Paul Eiding. So that'll be another dual interview. It's going to be very fun. We're going to have Paul back on the show. He's such a character. I think about the Paul Eiding interview quite frequently throughout the week, just on a day-to-day, just the way he was. He was an absolute joy. And then we also talked to, if those of you who weren't here yesterday, we spoke to Heather Halley about having a dual interview with her and Lori Allen, who is the boss from Metal Gear Solid 3. Can't confirm that yet, but they both are interested in it. I just haven't set up a date, but when we do, I will have both of them on at the same time. I think that would be great. Maybe we'll have Lori on first and then bring Heather on, like maybe midway through the interview. That way we can ask Lori our regular questions as well. But yeah, so we also have. I don't want to confirm this currently because I haven't spoke to them yet since my car accident. But we're supposed to be getting Rika Morinaka, David Hayter, and Cam Clark on at the same time as well, live from a convention that they're doing, I believe, within the next week or two. We're still working out the details, so don't quote us on that, but that one is going to be amazing. Some more scheduled, confirmed interviews are Donna Burke at the end of September. And we also have Stephen Downs, one of my personal favorite voice actors, the voice actor for Master Chief from the Halo franchise. I really honestly don't like Halo for the multiplayer. I'm not a big multiplayer Halo kind of guy, but I love the story, and he's got some great quotes from the game. One that really sticks in my mind, and I tell my cousin who's a big Halo fanatic all the time. There's one in the first Halo where they're coming off the Pillar of Autumn, coming down to the Halo ring, and all the Marines in there are all scared, and he just looks over and he goes, "We'll be fine." And then they all die. So I think that's amazing. So I really look forward to talking to Stephen Downs. Hopefully he's related to Robert Atkin Downs and it can hook us up with an interview. But that's stretching goals there. I have no idea if they're related or not. Other noteworthy interviews that we're working on, Tiny Tina from Borderlands 2.
Yep.
Matt Mercer is scheduled to come on towards the beginning of October, and Huey, Hal, Otacon, Emmerich, all of the above will be rejoining us in October as well. So we've got tons of stuff lined up for you guys. Definitely an exciting couple months. So when Phantom Pain comes out, we're not going away. We've got plenty of stuff lined up for you guys. We all love doing this, and I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else. So with that said, schedules are out of the way. Support links are in the bio. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. I was so happy to be able to ask the supporter questions from our donators and our subscribers. Thank you so much for that. But with that, I'm done. Ronin, say goodbye.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the chat. Okay, I'm done. Sorry, guys, I'm out. Yeah, Daily says I'm done. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we're done. I'm kidding.
But thank you all for stopping by and watching the stream. I definitely appreciate you guys for being as patient as you were with the questions that we were asking. Like we said, we couldn't get them all, and hopefully you guys understand the reasonings why. But stay tuned for the future interviews that we have coming up. It's going to be fantastic. And as always, you guys, stay classy, stay sassy, stay sharp. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, and I'll see you all next time.
I'm so sad. Like, I don't want to leave. I just want to stay on the show forever. I told these guys during our commercial break, I feel like we're all getting ready to like go off to college or Afghanistan. Like, we're all going our separate ways. We're all going to play the Phantom Pain our own separate ways, and we're not going to see each other for many years. But in reality, it'll be next Friday. But it'll feel like a long time. So,
yeah. Phantom Pain will do that to you, man.
Y'all go ahead. Say goodbye.
So with that, thank you for tuning in, folks. I mean, once again, if we didn't get your question, I mean, it's just the nature of how this works. As it's just there's some questions we can ask, some we can't. But we asked the sort of the top one, so I hope in that sense you were satisfied. And look forward to more Metal Gear content. I know I've been a little behind on my retrospective. That's because, well, I mean, this week is just crazy. And the one from, that was supposed to upload at 12 a.m. today is uploading right now. So I'm, like, really slacking. I apologize. But I'll do my best to,
It's okay. You give us stuff to watch. That's fine.
That's good. And, yeah, and even after the game is out, it's not over yet. We got a lot more to do. So, with that, I will see you guys next time. Young out.